Okay, slow news day today here on a Wednesday. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Wednesday, February the 2nd, 2022. What is going on? Not a lot to talk about today, right? Anyways, what's going on? Wednesday, February the 2nd. It is noon. I'm Chris Phillips, your host of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. As always, appreciate you all tuning in, taking your questions, your comments, your calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. I see Twan Love Kicks, Ryan, John. Ryan, don't be mad that I had sex with your mom last night. Let's see, Justin Langford, Cody Gaskins, Brendan, Robert Jolly, Todd Smith. What's up? Bad day to be a slapdick. Big Cock Club Discord. Also, head over there, Big Cock Club Discord, the TDC Questions channel. The TDC Questions channel. Be sure your questions answered. Yeah, bad day to be a slapdick, my guy. Really bad day. Really awful day to be a slapdick for sure. Hopefully, the OnlyFans bots have left us outside of, I think Ryan Johnson on Facebook is indeed an OnlyFans bot tuned in here at noon. Love to see that. Again, slow news day. Not a lot going on. No, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Rocket Main, what's going on? Appreciate you all tuning in, of course, as always. I am Chris Phillips, your host of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show, as always. We got a lot to dive into. Some unexpected news, some shakeups within the Gamecocks coaching staff. Of course, it's signing day. We can also talk about the basketball game that happened last night. So, again, want to hear from you guys. Before we get going, though, I do want to tell you about our friends over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm, because the Daily Crow is brought to you by our friends at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm. Guys are young but experienced and aggressive attorneys. They're both former prosecutors who used to represent insurance companies, but switching sides. They both worked at larger law firms where they represented hundreds of clients at a time. And guys, they both left to start their own law firm because they understand you're not just a line or a number, you're a real human being, and you should be treated as such. They're a small boutique law firm that treats their clients like family. Guys are going to know who you are and treat you like a client and not a number. They handle injury cases that arise from car accidents and work accidents. Guys, do not try to take on the insurance company yourself. Been involved in any type of accident, no matter what it is, the last thing you should be dealing with and worrying about is paperwork, dealing with the insurance company. Let the experts over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm handle it for you. They use latest technology to make representation efficient yet effective. Again, guys, let them take care of everything for you. You don't even pay them unless they recover money for you. Rami's in Columbia, Curtis in Charleston. They handle cases statewide. They also offer virtual or in-person consultations at no charge. Guys, give them a call today in Columbia, 803-973-0304, or in their Somerville location, 843-388-3368. Of course, your one-stop shop, their website, dsinjurylaw.com. That is dsinjurylaw.com for more information. Again, guys, that's our friends over at Dason and Shalabi Law Firm. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Okay, taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Let's see. Bradley Miller, Chris Phillips, that a P in 2 on your little marker board. PWO, my guy, preferred walk-on. PWO, preferred walk-on. And I apologize, by the way, to Ryan Johnson. Ryan, I'd never sleep with your mother, man. I got a rule. My limit is 250 pounds. So, unfortunately, your mother exceeds that. My bad, Ryan. I didn't mean to insult you in that way. Brandon Wagner, did I see that Eric Kimry left? Brandon, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did, my guy. We all saw it. Connor Shaw and Eric Kimry both departing this morning, which very interesting timing that it comes on signing day, but here we are. A lot of moving pieces today. A lot of PWOs been added. Again, if you don't get the joke, it feels like we've added like 100 preferred walk-ons over the last week or so. Rod Smith, Robbie Davis, what's up, Phil? Everybody panic. Yeah, everybody panic. Is it too early to have a Busch Latte? Is it too early to have a drink, Phil? People freaking out on social media. People freaking out. Did I even had a guy I'm friends with, text me, there's a mutiny going on. It's a mutiny. Like, what is this, Pirates of the Caribbean? Like, give me a break, dude. Give me a break. I have no clue where Connor Shaw's going. I'll go ahead and say this. That's what we're going to start, obviously. The big news with Connor Shaw, Eric Kimry. Okay? Here we go. First with Shaw. I've had Connor on my show. I've had conversations with Connor off the air. And Connor and I like to say, we've had some conversations outside of football, if you will, just about his future and what he wants to do. I think Connor Shaw is not a guy that's defined by the game of football. He doesn't need South Carolina football. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to be a coach. And I think Connor Shaw is a lot like Marcus Lattimore, where he just has bigger goals and aspirations, and dreams outside of just working for a football program. He runs his own camps. He's got a family as well. Connor Shaw's a big family guy. That's why he didn't want to be an on-field coach, guys, to begin with, because he doesn't want to live the coach life. He doesn't want to be in a facility till midnight, coaching players, studying film. He doesn't want to do that. Not everybody wants to do that and live that life. So Connor Shaw departing, what do I make of it? Hate to see the GOAT walk, because he is, in my mind, the GOAT. My favorite Gamecock of all time. Is it something that concerns me? No. Guy was director of player development, guys. I mean, no offense, what did he do? Outside of being an ambassador for the school, which he'll continue to be, it's not something where I look at and say, oh, red flag. You know what I mean? I understand it. Fans they want coaches to stay here forever. They want people within the program to stay here forever. They don't want to see any changes, but it just happens. You know what I mean? People have lives. They make decisions. They make decisions best for them. And again, I just see Shaw as a guy that's not defined by the game of football. He's not defined by being a director of player development. He's got bigger and better aspirations he wants to chase, and so I think that's probably what he is doing. On the Eric Kimrey side of things, I will say this, guys, again, at the end of the day, we talk about how much we love the Gamecocks and love South Carolina, and that's all fine and dandy. At the end of the day, it is a business. Bottom line, it's a business, and you got to do what's best for you. And when opportunities present themselves and you have an opportunity to better yourself or your situation, then you're going to do it. More often than not, you're going to do it, and you can't blame somebody for doing that. Again, is it a little bit surprising? And what it should really teach us all, guys, I mean, I know this is going to hurt some of your feelings. What it should really teach us all is this. Again, at the end of the day, it is a business. So when coaches are hired and they say certain things like, this is the greatest fan base ever, this is the greatest school, like we're this, we're that, that's all fine and dandy. And it's great to hear them say that. Don't get me wrong, but it really doesn't mean a hill of beans. You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter. They're going to say whatever in the presser. The press conferences don't matter. Again, at the end of the day, it's a business. It's a business, right? You get a chance to better yourself, upgrade your paycheck, do whatever. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. So I know it's a little bit shocking to see Eric Kimrey leave, because this was his dream job, if you will. But, I think Kimrey saw an opportunity. Again, the details will come out. We've been talking about the Big Cock Club today, but the details will come out later today, and most likely later today. And, it's no, like, ill will or ill feelings at all. I mean, I'm buddies with Kimrey. I like Kimrey a lot. Kimrey's a great dude. If you ever met him, he's an awesome dude. Awesome dude. So, but again, what it should really go to show us is, like, just take everything with a grain of salt. Take everything coaches say with a grain of salt, because they'll say what they have to, right? And I'm not saying that doesn't mean they're not genuine and truthful. And, like, when he said he wanted to be here, I'm not saying that wasn't truthful, but don't let that twist your thought process in regards to think that, oh, people are just going to be here forever. It's just not how it works. It's just not. I really feel for the kids. I feel for the kids, man. Like, not just at South Carolina, but all across college football, because coaches will say whatever to get you to their school, and then they will dip. So, I mean, it's just the reality. It's not just a South Carolina thing. And again, I'm not saying that Eric Kimrey was disingenuous in recruiting and all that, but, like, it's just the reality. Like, players are up and leaving in the portal. Coaches up and leave whenever they want. It happens. It just happens. So movement happens. And again, it's not, no, I don't think it's, the rumor today, of course, is going to be everybody hates Satterfield. Everybody's leaving because Satterfield's still here. I mean, guys, again, I really do think if there was a mutiny going down, if there was a risk of a mutiny going down, what does it say about Shane Beamer then that he would cling to Satterfield and let a mutiny take place? Bro, that's such an overreaction. That's such a ridiculous overreaction. Like, come on, man. A mutiny. Really? Come on. 2 days ago, y'all ready to pick the Gamecocks to go 10-2 this season. Now we got to hit the panic button? Now there's a mutiny going on? Come on. I'm not buying that, man. I'm not buying that. Trip, what's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Air Josiah the Slapdick. What's going on, man? Good to see you commenting as well. Tony Sharp says, I remember Kimry saying on a 107.5 The Game show that he didn't want the college coaching lifestyle. Maybe he's just satisfied that itch and he's going back to high school ball. Tony, who knows? Who knows? Per sources. Who knows what the sources might tell you? Per sources. Maybe, just maybe, that is what it is. But again, guys, want to hear from you. Seriously, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Justin texts in and says, Chris, unbelievable that Connor Shaw and Eric Kimry are leaving the South Carolina football program. What is going on here? And will Jim Harbaugh go to the Vikings? I think Jim Harbaugh is definitely NFL bound. I mean, the dude is interviewing for the job today on National Signing Day. So what does that tell you? What is going on? Again, things are happening. Pieces are moving. People are doing what's best for them, my guy.
John.
Here we go. Let's jump to the phone line. John, what's going on, my man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, man. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
Yeah, I got one thing. It's not like a question. It's just like something I get off my chest. Something about what Frank Martin said after the game last night. Okay, so what he said after the game last night was, "Oh, it's just a bad day off the office." Like, come on, Frank. Like, stop with the freaking excuses. Y'all played like crap the whole freaking 40 minutes, and you're gonna say it's a bad day off your office? Like, seriously? Like, why does the man kind of come up with excuses? Anyway, that's my rant. I'm going to call in. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Appreciate it, John. When you get John fired up, you know that you messed up Frank Martin. Yeah, Frank Martin after the game saying it was just a bad night at the office, and I mean that's one way to put it for sure. And I understand John Kruger is one of those who's very, very frustrated, very fired up with the Gamecocks basketball program. And we can talk basketball if you like. You know, I not to pat myself on the back, I thought I did a really good job this morning on the podcast that dropped in regards to articulating how I felt about the situation of the program. And I'll put it very simply here for you all. The Gamecocks basketball program under Frank Martin, and I don't even say this in a negative way, but I'm just stating the obvious. Because there's still a long way to go. Great opportunity on Saturday. Hey, I'm trying to be positive, right? But the reality of the program under Frank Martin is this. You are what you are. And here's what I mean by that. You're just good enough to keep things interesting, but you're not good enough to win anything of real substance. And again, I'm not even saying that in a negative way. Because, hey, I'm not saying the program's a dumpster fire. I'm not saying the program is you know, in the gutter. But that is what you are. You are on pace for just another Frank Martin year. And that's a lot better than what Darren Horn did. And that's a lot better than what a lot of other coaches here have done. But that is where you are. So the question now for the University of South Carolina is, are you okay with just being what you are? Because that is what you are. That is. You know, my biggest takeaway from last night was this team will not eclipse the 500 mark at any point this season in SEC play. I think we're going to be, like I've said before, you are who you are. I think we're going to go back and forth, inconsistency. No doubt, Justin. No doubt. We're better, way better than we were under Darren Horn. Nobody's saying the program's a dumpster fire. But see, that's kind of the problem, too. That's kind of the problem, is you're not bad enough to warrant any real change, but you're not good enough to win anything that matters. That's where you are as a basketball program. So we'll see if they can prove me wrong yet again, but that's where you are. That's where you are as a basketball program. Bottom line. You are what you are. You are what you are. Anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. 843-790-3377. Justin Langford says, maybe we can get the running back from Hammond then, since Harbaugh might bolt for the NFL. How many running backs do we need, my guy? Dude, we got like 10 on the roster. I'm not complaining about getting good players, but Lord Christ. Ben Smith said you were the one that said Frank was Horn with the Final Four. And I stand by that. What I meant by that was this. Whether you miss the postseason and win 10 SEC games or you miss the postseason and win 1, what's the difference? You still miss the postseason. You're still ending the season on the couch. That's what I meant by that statement. Like, the end result's still the same. Again, we're not finishing last in the league, though, like Horn did, but we're still achieving the same end result. I mean, the end result's no different. So, per sources season, sound the alarm, per sources season, per sources, great day to have a source. Per sources season. Here we go. Jump the phone lines here.
Call from
Jesse.
Jesse, what's up, man? How are you? If you're going to call in and chirp, do better than that. Come on. And Jesse, I have your number, by the way. I'll give you a call back later, Jesse. I mean, no, if you're going to call in and chirp, you have your opportunity. I'm going to let you get it out. Do better. Let's see. We got a text here. That's how you know, again, though, guys, I've said this before, that's how you know the show is doing really well, when you have opposing fans trying to troll and call in. Let's see. Another text says, a lot of smoke in the rumor mill that these departures are due to issues with Satterfield. You're hearing the same. No, I am not. I think that's just the easy, just stamp it on there. Like, here it is. Like, people are just throwing that out there to make an excuse for why it's happening. That's the easy excuse. And people hating Satterfield is already the low-hanging fruit. People hate Satterfield. So the Satterfield haters are coming back out. They're coming out of their shells. You know, we won the bowl game, so they went into hiding. We won the bowl game, so they went into hiding. So now all the Satterfield hates coming back out, blaming Sat for what's going on. Phil says, per sources, it's 38 degrees and cloudy in the great state of New Hampshire. Love that. Let's see. Cutno Myers Jr., I wonder, does Clemson have a show like this? Bro, no. A Clemson content creator couldn't even figure out how to work a laptop, much less put on a show like this. Let's see. Justin says, I say we're already going to miss the tournament. So cut ways with Frank. Let's have an interim coach.
Call from
There we go.
Will from Dirty Myrtle.
Will, what's going on, my guy? How are you?
What's up, dude?
What's going on?
So, just wanted to ask, so what do you think is the reason that we're having this abrupt, thing where 2 coaches are out the door and possibly a couple more to follow? Do you think it's just coincidental, or do you think there is some smoke there with something?
It's definitely weird that it happens on signing day, although I think that's on purpose. That these, again, it's the culture of college coaching and college football that coaches are going to tell you whatever and get you in, and they're going to wait till signing day, make sure they wait until you've signed the dotted line, and then that's when they're going to make the decision to go. And I'm not like attacking the character of a guy like Eric Kimry, but I think that's just the culture of coaching, and that's what they're going to do. So I think that's why it's all happening on this day. But dude, I mean, again, yesterday and 2 days ago, people were creaming their pants over thinking about we were going to win the SEC this year. So are we really going to hit the panic button now? I'm fine. I'm good, man. It's going to take a lot more than losing a tight end coach and a director of player development for me to shit a brick. You know what I mean? So.
Right. And I don't really care as much about the loss of Eric Kimry. The only thing is Connor Shaw isn't leaving for another job. So I'm just kind of wondering why.
Well, we don't know why Shaw's leaving. Yeah, we don't know why Shaw's leaving, and I think too it's these departures hurt. They hurt fans because they're Gamecocks. These are Gamecocks. These are not just random dudes. It's not like Greg Atkins is dipping. It's
Shaw.
Yeah, the greatest quarterback to ever play at South Carolina, and another guy that played quarterback at USC. So I get it. It's personal. These are personal departures. It feels like almost so. No, but I mean, I just think Shaw's a guy, man, that, I haven't had conversations with Shaw of late. Do I think that his end goal in life was to be a director of player development for a college football team? I don't think so, man. I don't. I think he's got bigger, and
Right.
he's got kids. He's got a wife, a family. I mean, I think he wants to do other things. It's kind of like Marcus Lattimore, man. I mean, Marcus Lattimore is just much bigger than football, and he wanted to do his own thing, and he literally moved to the West Coast to do it. So, I mean, I don't know what's next for Connor Shaw. I don't know. I mean, I hate to see him leave because, again, Shaw's my favorite Gamecock of all time and love having him around.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, everybody's got their own path. And, you know, again, I don't know why. I don't know why the first reaction is to draw a negative reaction to, oh, my God, the sky is falling.
Right.
Like not again, not everybody wants to be a director of player development for the rest of their lives. Like people want to do other things. So.
And I just don't want this to take away from the momentum that we built, because it's like I'm so excited about the season, and I still am. This hasn't changed that at all. It's just the Connor Shaw thing, like you said, it's personal. It hurts a little bit because he's a lot of people's favorite Gamecock, and you just want to know why you wanted to. It seems like there was something special brewing here, and him wanting to leave. I hope he is going on to bigger and better things. I wish him nothing but the best. And the Eric Kimry thing is like doesn't really hurt as much because he played for us, but he wasn't very good. So, I mean, it's not like he's really good shit about that dude anyway. But anyway, yeah, I just want to say, I just hope that people don't take this too far. It's like, dude, we're still in the right direction. It's on course, bro. Like, these are not intricate pieces to the puzzle right now. No offense. You know what I mean? Like, we'll be okay.
Yeah. I mean, nobody would care a tight end coach was leaving except for the fact that he played at South Carolina. I'm saying, again, I'm not like,
Right.
I love Kimry. Like, Kimry's my dude, but you know, that's the reality. That's the reality. So, people freak. It is funny. It is funny to see the masses freak out on social media, man. It is funny, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Like I said, I think people just have opportunities come up, and you know, people make adjustments and they make decisions for their own personal selves. And hey, sometimes business is greater than where you went to school. You know what I mean? Sometimes business outweighs your love for a college. I mean, it just does. I mean, I hate to say that. You know what I mean? But sometimes it does. So. You know, you just wish him the best.
And one other thing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, one other thing. The Frank Martin team, the real team, showed up again last night. Playing terrible in the first half and couldn't pull it out in the second half like they have been lately. And my personal opinion on it is I'm a diehard basketball fan, football fan. I do all of it. I don't split it up.
Right.
I'm a Gamecock. And I'm tired of being sick and tired. And people that are saying don't fire Frank Martin, why? Because we beat two bad teams and one good one. That doesn't turn around 10 years of mediocrity over one season. Mm-hmm. And mediocrity is being polite because we haven't even been on the bubble but like twice. You know what I mean? Like, but anyways, that's all I have to say. Albano, Jesus for Heisman. I'm out.
Appreciate it, Will. Thank you so much. Anyways, 843-790-3377. 843-790-3377. Again, per sources season. Per sources season. Let's see. P-Mod. What's up, baby? P-Mod. Yeah, Travis Allen again. Somebody said more coaches are leaving per sources season. Okay, here we go. Keep it rolling. We will be live, by the way. I was contemplating whether or not I wanted to go live for Shane Beamer's presser at 2:00. We will be live because there's a lot going on, and I want to hear what Shane Beamer's got to say. And I mean, why wouldn't we stream it? So yeah, we'll be live. We will stay live for Shane Beamer's presser at 2:00. Again, he's got a lot to discuss for sure. Jeff Gullich's per sources, Clem still sucks. Indeed. Breaking, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. Again, the big news today, we got a text to Kimry's departure is weird. Why would you leave your alma mater you love for a high school coaching position that pays less? And again, that's one rumor out there. Well, my guy, you know what? Not everything's about money, believe it or not. Not everything is about money, you know. And so if there was a head coaching position of some sort at the high school level that Eric Kimry had been targeting for quite a while, even before he was employed at the University of South Carolina, hypothetically, then he might want to take it, you know? He might enjoy being a head coach more than being a tight ends coach. And that, my friends, outweighs working at his alma mater. I mean, again, I that's what's killing fans right now. And I get it. You feel like your own have departed. Your own have departed. These are a pair of Gamecocks. They're not just random Joes, right? I get it. I was shocked. I said, wow. As soon as it dropped, like literally, I audibly said, wow. Wow. So, I mean, you know, it's not always about money, my guy. It's not always about money. It's not always about money. It's about opportunity and bettering yourself. And again, if there's an opportunity you can't turn down, you can't refuse, you take it. You take it. It is hilarious, again, to see the sky is falling people on social media. But again, my 2 cents on it. You can listen to me. You can not. You can continue to hit the panic button. Whatever you want to do. Hey, go take a shot. Relax. Here's my 2 cents, though. Again, first thing with the Eric Kimry thing. Hypothetically, a lot of rumors going around, but if there's an opportunity that came up, maybe he wanted to be a head coach instead of a tight ends coach. Maybe he preferred the lifestyle of being a head coach at the high school level. Maybe there's other things going on behind closed doors in regards to Shane Beamer wanting to make a move. Have we ever thought of that? Maybe Shane Beamer gave him a little nudge. Hey, I mean, the Kimry hire, again, I love Eric Kimry. It's a bit of a feel-good hire. It was a feel-good hire, right? It was. It was a feel-good hire. Eric Kimry had no college coaching experience. Not saying he did a bad job. I'm not saying he did a bad job. He didn't do a bad job. But then I would ask you, too, did the tight end overachieve, underachieve, or meet expectations, that position? I mean, Nick Muse was non-existent. So, again, I'm not attacking the job that Eric Kimry did. I love Eric. I think he did a fine job. He did a fine job. And I'm so happy that Eric got the opportunity to coach at his alma mater and get his dream job, if you will. But he got his dream job. He saw it out. And, you know, maybe he got an offer he couldn't refuse at another school being a head coach again. That's hypothetically. Hypothetically. As far as the Connor Shaw thing, again, not everything's about money. I saw somebody comment, you're making $200,000 to do what you do. Why would Connor Shaw leave? Not everything's about money, man. Not everything's about – the guy played in the NFL. You think he needs the money? It's not all about money is what I'm saying. And, again, I've had conversations with Connor Shaw off the record. Blessed to even say that. Fortunate to say that I've had conversations with the GOAT in my mind. So that one hurts a little bit for me because, Connor Shaw is my favorite Gamecock of all time. But have we ever thought, again, maybe Connor Shaw has loftier goals in life than being a director of player development for a college football team? And again, that's not demeaning that position, but I look at Connor Shaw kind of like a guy like Marcus Lattimore, just walks to the beat of his own drum, does his own thing. Have we maybe thought of that? So, I don't view, again, the conversations I've had with Shaw, I don't think he necessarily is in love with the football lifestyle, being in the building every day. He's got a family, he's got kids. Have we thought of that angle?
Zachary.
That's all I'm saying. Here we go.
To
Zachary, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, Chris. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well, man. What's going on?
So, I honestly, I don't like the second National Signing Day because, depending on what your school is, your class is pretty much wrapped up. It's only pretty much this day that kind of helps. I think it helps teams that can come in late on guys, like your Alabamas and your Georgias, that, guys that can come in late on people, or even guys who are have new staff. I think this is the only day that it benefits. Josh Pate said something about changing the first early signing period to August, September. And I think that's a good idea because around that time, nobody knows where they want to go, and I think that will make this signing day a little more important, in my opinion.
I mean, I just think anytime you have 2 signing days, the second one's going to be less important. It's because kids are jumping at the opportunity to sign early. This signing day has lost all of its luster. It has. I mean, you're the goal is to sign him early. The goal is to sign him early. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't really know. I mean, I've definitely heard what Josh had to say, and Josh Pate's a very smart dude, and really appreciate him taking the time to come on my show, and love what he does. And so, I mean, yeah, that's a very valid, good idea. But I mean, I just think as long as you have 2 signing days, I just don't see where the second signing day is going to carry a whole lot of weight, because again, the whole point is to get the guys signed as early as possible. So, I mean, I don't know how you fix. I don't think you need to fix it. I mean, it's you don't need to fix it. It's just the reality of it now. Like, early signing day is National Signing Day. It is. So, yeah, I don't know that there's like a fix necessarily needed, if you will. But yeah, I just I just remember when we didn't have early signing day like this day today, like having so much. It was just like early signing day. Like it had the juice, like really had the juice. And but early signing day has huge advantages. I mean, guys can get on campus early and enroll and start spring practice, and that's awesome. That's awesome. But this signing day now just is kind of like whatever. It is what it is. We've already signed everybody anyway, so. But whatever.
Yeah, like my first, like the signing day in December, like I would make sure I was up. I made sure I did all my work, made sure I got all my work done. Stuff like that. Well, no, I was on spring. I was on winter break, all those times. But you know what I mean. I would make sure I got up early. I would make sure I was tracking all the stuff, and that was fun. Like now, but now it's kind of like you kind of know, everyone who's coming. Well, we have one silent commit, but that's he'll announce what he wants to announce. Right. But we all know who's here. We don't have that many spots left due to scholarships anyway. So that's really my thing too. I'm like, it's kind of like today's kind of. I'm not gonna. Still, it is kind of pointless. I hate using that word because it's an important day for some of these guys, but like from like a coverage standpoint, it's kind of pointless.
Right. I mean, yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So happy for all the guys we signed, and we're adding a ton of preferred walk-ons as well. And I mean, I trust in Beamer. So I mean, we're good. I mean, I don't it is what it is. Just another Wednesday, my guy. It's really, I mean, that's what it's kind of become. It's just so all good.
Yeah. What happened? There was something I wanted to mention before I mentioned the Eric Kimry thing. But I'll just go to the Eric Kimry thing. I think people just like to blame Stat because they're just not happy with Stat. I think they just don't like Stat that much. I think some people are just out on Stat, and I think they just want to blame him for everything. I believe like they had to know that Stat was staying. So they had to have plenty of time to leave. Like they knew Stat was staying. They had to know for like a whole month Stat was staying at least. So I think it's not fair to blame Stat. I think if you want to blame him for the poor on-field product, fine, go ahead. But I don't think you should blame him for people leaving. They had like a whole month to know that he was staying. So they so it's kind of like if they knew he was staying, they should have just been like, we're out then. That's just my stance on notion.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's low-hanging fruit. Everybody wants to blame Satterfield. I'll ask you this question. I'll ask everybody this question. Beamer consciously retained Satterfield. So if everybody leaves because of Sat, then what do you think about Beamer? Does your perception of Shane Beamer change? Do you like Beamer less now? Do you question Beamer? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, that is a developed point because
he's the one that kept him. He's the one that made the decision. He's the one that kept him. So what do you think?
Yeah, I honestly,
I mean, Satterfield can only do what Beamer says he can do. So
yeah, I honestly think that Beamer would not keep anybody that would be a threat to what he's building. Because I think he wants to be here. I think he really cares about the place. I do not think that he would actively leave someone who will threaten to destroy everything he's trying to build here. But, like I said, people want to think what they want to think.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Per sources season, my guy, there's so much flying around. And again, I don't think it's because of Satterfield still being employed again. Satterfield was great just a month ago after we beat North Carolina. He was awesome again. So he's also, maybe he's not the number one reason, but he's part of the reason why Spencer Rattler came here. So, which brought Austin Stogner along with him. So, I think it's pure coincidence, man. I think until I hear otherwise, I'm not rolling with the sky is falling mutiny takes. I think it's just pure coincidence, man. I think the reason it's happening again on this day, is again that not to come at any specific coaches, but it's a college football thing that coaches are going to wait until kids are officially inked and signed, and then they're going to go. They're not going to risk the kid not coming to the school and all that. So I think it's just happening today. It's just pure coincidence, and you just keep it moving. So,
yeah, I think, for me to believe that had anything involved, I want Eric Kimry and Connor Shaw to go on WLTX, WLTX, Watch Fox. I want them to go on all the news outlets here in Columbia and just be like, F Satterfield. If that's the problem, just do that. Just go on, and that's personally what I would do to believe it. Because I just want to hear from their mouth say F Satterfield. That would be that I'll believe it then. But other than that, I'm just gonna take it as fool's gold.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, just the low-hanging fruit. Zachary, I appreciate the call, my guy. Always great stuff as always. 843-790-3377. Again, phone lines ringing off the hook. Of course, Coach Ford back injecting his opinion. Coach Ford, we're not going to rehash this, but yes, if you actually can read, if you're literate, yes, Rattler did mention, and his agent, whoever the heck he is, not agent, whatever, his quarterback coach mentioned, they did like the opportunity to play in a pro-style offense, a.k.a. Satterfield's offense. So, again, was he the number one reason, the number two, the number three, what have you, whatever. He knew who his OC was going to be, and he liked the opportunity to play in that offense. So take that for what it is. Coach Ford, you can kick and scream and punch air if you like, but that's just literally the reality of what was printed on the internet. John Gibbs says, I think I'm just going to not put much of stock into coaches and people from here on anymore and treat his staff like recruiting players. Go get the best guy. Doesn't matter where he or she is from. Not worried, scared, or freaked out, but the curiosity is there on Eric and Shaw leaving. The philosophy has always been to keep your own, but if they don't want to stay for whatever reason, you got to change the philosophy. Shane just needs to go get the best coaches who fit for us. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying that in a negative way, but it's just the world of coaching, man. It's business, and coaches, when they take a job and they become employed and they go to their presser, they're going to say whatever, man. They're going to say, this is the greatest opportunity. This is the greatest fan base. We have the greatest stadium. We can do this. We can do that. Of course, they're going to say that. Head coaches are going to say it. Assistants are going to say it. No assistant coach is going to say, well, this job was third or fourth down on my list, but, it came open and I needed a job. So, I mean.
Call from
Brian Lattimore.
There we go. Brian, what's up, my guy? How are you?
What's going on, Chris?
Not much, man. Just hanging out. What's up?
Hey, can you hear me all right? I hear a little bit of static on my end.
Yeah, you're good. There's a little static, but I think you're all right. I think we can make it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So, I know you were messing with me earlier on Discord when you said panic, and I thought that was funny. But, I think you understand as much as I do realistic fans on, that there is. I think part of the issue here is our fan base, and just fans in general, or, you could even people in general when it comes to issues that are obvious, is people need answers. People can't stand not knowing what the issue is or what's going on behind closed doors. People have to speculate. There has to be some sort of drama involved, something that made whatever it is happen. You know what I mean? So it's kind of
yeah, fans just want it to make sense. Fans just want it to make sense, and I get it, and I get it too. I'm not trying to demean that or say that's wrong at all. Fans do, and hey, Shane Beamer's going to speak it too. He's going to speak at 2:00, so we'll hear it. I'm sure he's going to obviously address it, no doubt. Yeah, but fans want it to make sense, and hopefully Shane Beamer, the answer that he wants, or Shane Beamer, the answer he's going to give, will help fans make it make sense.
Yeah. And it's one of those too where whether you're winning or you're losing doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to keep the same coaching staff for eternity. And it seemed kind of weird on the same day. It's coincidence? Is it the fact that signing day? What does it really matter? Like, people have reasons for leaving.
Mhm.
Whether it be internal, external, it doesn't really matter. And that a little bit about the fact that Connor, football isn't everything for him. Maybe he has something else in mind that he wants to go do. Like, it's not like the guy's like doing some kind of crazy, important job on campus. Not to demean what he did. I think he was great, but he's always going to be ambassador for the school. If Shane Beamer called him up one day, hey, I got a quarterback, commit that I really want you to talk to. Will you help us out? Like, he's going to be there. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to just throw the school under the bus and say, I hated my time there. One of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the greatest quarterback we've ever had. He's going to be an ambassador for the school forever.
Yeah, I mean, I would guarantee you that Connor Shaw doesn't have a ill word to say about USC. I would guarantee you. Again, I get it. I do get it, and I can empathize because fans take it. And Brian, I'm gonna let you go. By the way, call back in, my guy, if you like. There was some static on your end. Always appreciate Brian Lattimore calling in, giving his perspective. But fans take it very personally. I understand that. Like, college fans, especially, they take it very personally. So when someone comes to their school, leaves especially, we take it personally. We do. I'm not even going to say Gamecock fans because we take it personally. We take it more personally than we should. We do. We do. We take it as a breakup, right? We take it as, oh, you don't like me anymore? What's wrong with me? What did I do? Why would you ever leave me? I thought you loved me. We take it personally. And you've just got to try to remove that emotion and say, hey, people love their school. They love their university. They're alumni. They had great memories here. They wanted to be here. They also have other opportunities they may want to pursue. I just think, hey, and guess what? The Satterfield stuff, it may be true, but jumping straight
Call
to that, I
from
think, is
Robbie Davis,
foolish.
a.k.a. Kirk Herbstreit.
Well, Robbie Loud today.
To
Let's go.
accept, press 1. To send a
Robbie, what's going on, my guy? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you on this wonderful Wednesday?
I'm doing well, man. Hey, days like today are fantastic for business. Content is bleeding out the eyeball, so there's not a lack of things to discuss and talk about, and the beauty's in the banter, my guy. So appreciate you calling in. What's going on?
Yes, absolutely. Everything that's going on, like things like this happen, okay? Coach, like the previous caller said, like you're not going to have the same coaching staff your entire coaching career. Like they're going to be in line for other coaching jobs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why Kimry left. I don't know. I don't really care. I just want the best coaches on our coaching staff that'll help us win. I don't care who they are. Do I respect Kimry as a man? Yes, I do. I just want what's best for the school, right? Like you do. You want what's best for the football team. You want what's best for all sports in general, same as everybody else.
Winning is good for business. Confirmed.
Uh-huh.
Winning is good for business. Confirmed.
And if us not having Kimry or any other coaches helps us win, but also like I don't have no ill will towards Kimry whatsoever. He's got reasons for everything. There's reasons for everything that happens, man. We might not understand it right then, but there's always reasons for everything that happens. Everything. Even the bad stuff. So, I mean, I'm not going to flip my lid over Kimry or Connor Shaw leaving if that is the case. I'm not going to flip my lid, okay? It is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna.
Very, very level-headed approach from you, Robbie. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah,
Like,
very, very level-headed approach.
but right, but here's, am I like I said, am I a little ticked? Yes, but you know what? It is what it is.
You know, and again, Robbie, you know why you're ticked? Because fans could never fathom leaving their own school. They could never fathom that. They could never fathom it.
Right.
You couldn't. But
Like you
these
graduate-
people,
I get
these
it. Like, you
coaches
graduated-
these
like, both of
coaches
them
are
graduated
not
from that.
fans, Robbie. These coaches are not fans.
Right, exactly. They're getting paid to coach, not be a fan.
They wouldn't. Let me put it to you this way: fans would literally be a coach on our staff for free. These men would not do that for free. I wouldn't do it for free, to be totally honest with you. Well, maybe for
I
a day.
wouldn't do it
Maybe for a
free,
day I would.
But I would want to earn every penny that I get. That's for dang sure.
I may do it for a day for free, but you get what I'm saying. But no,
Yeah,
fans
right,
just can't.
right,
they can't
exactly.
fathom these dudes would ever leave. And again, it's a lot tougher to stomach because these are two former Gamecocks. I totally understand it. I do.
Right. And probably the winningest QB in school history. If not the winningest QB in school history. But I mean, we got to learn to roll with the punches, man. You got to roll with the punches.
And again,
When
I say this
you gotta
too.
put-
I say this because I it's very interesting. You know, there are three sides, right? There are three sides people have when something like this happens. Their first reactions
Right.
are either they're
Right.
over the top sunshine pumpers, like
Right.
you know, Shane Beamer's a god. He's everything he's doing, and that's fine. There are
Yeah.
people that are in the middle that are saying, "Hey, let the details come out. We'll see what happens." Not hitting the panic button. You know, we'll
Right.
just let the cards play out.
Mhm.
And then there's people that are doom and gloom. This smells of something rotten.
Right.
It's a mutiny. You know,
Right.
it all comes back to this for me though. It's like, do you believe that Shane Beamer is pulling the strings or do you not? I mean, do you trust him or do you not? Because if Shane Beamer would basically sell his soul to
Right.
a guy like Marcus Satterfield and say, damn all my other assistants, I'm gonna give it all up for this OC, then does it make you think differently about your head coach? Because if that is the case, I'd be like,
Right.
that'd make me raise an eyebrow, to be totally honest with you. Does it make other fans
Right.
do that? Shane Beamer couldn't do any wrong 2-3 days ago. Now what?
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah. Like I mean, like I've told you before, dude. Nobody's perfect, though. No one.
That's a fact. That's a
Okay.
fact.
Just sit back, let the chips fall where they may, and we'll go from there. Okay? Because at the end of the day, we're gonna have a football team come fall. Okay? Some coaches ain't gonna be there, but the football team will be. And sometimes if a coach ain't doing their job correctly, you're going to get fired. That's with any job. I'm not just saying like coaching job, just any job. You ain't doing your job correctly, you're going to get canned.
Mhm.
Especially if you got to be told constantly, if you do it this way, it'll be easier for you, but you do it the hardest way because you're stupid. Yeah, you're going to get fired. Like when I was working at Zaxby, I was doing something, but I was doing it the hard way. Then the manager showed me how to do it the easier way, and I did it the easier way because it was easier and it was easier on me. You get where I'm going with this?
I'm following you.
Because he was like, if you work, he said, you got to work smarter, not harder. I was like, that makes sense. So instead of working harder, I only worked smarter. So I'm just going to sit back and relax and enjoy the rest of my Wednesday. And if I find out we need any recruits today, I'll be happy. Regardless of who they are, I don't care how many stars they got. I don't care. Stars don't mean jack to me. I don't care. As long as Beamer and the coaching staff can develop them and make them better whenever they get here, I don't care if they're 3 stars. I don't care if they're 2 stars. I don't care. Get them here, develop them, make them better football players, make them better men, and then go from there.
Indeed. Well said, Robbie. Very well said. All we got's all we need. All we got's all we need.
Hey, amen to that. All right, man. You have a good day, okay?
Robbie, I appreciate you, my guy. Take care. Great stuff. Always a great call from the legendary Robbie Davis. Again, got a lot to talk about, lot to break down. Hey, we haven't even really mentioned basketball today. But, of course, the big news, Connor Shaw, Eric Kimry, both departing from Gamecocks football. What are the reasons? Well, Shane Beamer will speak at 2 o'clock. Guys, we won't have to ask the question anymore. Shane Beamer's going to speak at 2. We're going to hear what he has to say. Okay, we're going to let our head coach do his thing, do what he's paid to do, speak to you all, and try to make sense of it. Again, 843-790-3377. So, guys, we are going to jump into our first break of the day, but I want to continue to hear from you, more of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Want to continue to hear from you, your questions, your comments, your calls. Again, a lot to get into here on this Wednesday, February the 2nd, 2022. Phone lines have been ringing off the hook. As I mentioned earlier, guys, I'll tell you this. Fans just want it to make sense, and I'm very excited to hear what Shane Beamer has to say at 2 o'clock. Also, PWOs are pouring in. Looks like DJ Twitty, running back from East Tennessee State, has officially just tweeted 2 minutes ago. And that is a spam call. Muschamp hackers working hard. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Anyways. Eric Reese, TDC, or pay attention to my class. Definitely TDC, my guy. Here, let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
David Garrett.
David, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing fine. I hope you are too.
Thank you.
Connor Shaw is my favorite Gamecock as well, but I'm kind of in the middle because Connor hadn't stayed one place too long, regardless of what he was doing. He's bounced more than once. As far as Kimry goes, I don't think Kimry's the only one that wanted to get a job, and once they got the job, it turned from the dream job into somewhat of a nightmare. Or for all we know, Beamer could have said, look, I got Stogner coming in, and maybe this job ain't for you. The other thing I'm hearing is people complaining about all these running backs we're getting. And we've got a lot of them. But Bobby Bowden, when he was in his heyday, he had a habit of recruiting players at one position to groom them for another position. It was all about the talent, the speed, and the footwork. I think Beamer may be doing the same thing. Only time will tell. Keep up the good work, my friend, and hope to see you soon.
David, appreciate you, man. Definitely, for sure. Good point on the running back position. Very good point. And, yeah, he actually makes a really good point about Connor Shaw, too. Connor really hasn't stayed in one spot for very long. And, again, I just think it's because Connor's a guy who's sort of just trying a bunch of things and trying to find his path in life and what he wants to do and find his niche. And it's good. It's good to try a bunch of different things and taste a bunch of different things, if you will. And that's something I actually encourage anybody to do, entrepreneurs especially, but just anybody in life, man. Until you find your true calling and what you want to do, then do it. And there's a power in being able to change your mind and change paths in your career. The Kimry stuff, again, we're all speculating. We're not in the building. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I know people are jumping to the Satterfield speculation because that was the hot rumor that we heard, across the board, that, it's toxic and sad as this and sad as that. And guys, what did I tell you all season? If that's the case, you have to just trust Shane Beamer. I mean, what other choice do you have? And then I would ask you this. If Shane Beamer did, knowing all that, keep Sat employed and keep him on, and knew he was toxic and knew there was a chance these guys were going to leave, then does that make you raise an eyebrow? I mean, I know it sounds like, how could you dare say anything even remotely controversial about Shane Beamer, but does it make you raise an eyebrow? I'm just asking a question. Just posing a question. Does it make you raise an eyebrow as we enter the second hour here of the Daily Crow? And yes, for someone who asked earlier, we will live stream Shane Beamer's presser here. So if you want to watch it, you can go to YouTube, but you can watch it here also. Shane Beamer's news conference will be here. So, you got to trust Beamer. I mean, what choice do you have? You have to trust Shane Beamer, man. And again, fans want it to make sense. So I'm really excited for Beamer to speak and help us make it make sense. So, Coach Ford, I know you're out on Shane Beamer, my guy. You don't have to keep commenting. I get it. You're out on Shane Beamer until he proves you otherwise. Slapdick Coach Ford is back. The slapdick version of Coach Ford is officially back. Well, Travis, here's the thing. Shaw wasn't coaching. He was the director of player development. So, Jimmy Clark, appreciate the comment, my guy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tyrell Campbell Sr. said, Eric Kimry is a maker of young men. He loved coaching high school, and he had a big impact at that level. Yeah, I mean, I know fans can't fathom that, but here's the thing. Maybe, and again, it's all speculation. It's all speculation. Maybe he wants to be a high school head coach over being a tight ends coach at a college team. Maybe. That to me is not like a hard to fathom or comprehend type of thing. Like being the head man, being the head guy, having full control. Yeah, some prefer that. Many do. Many prefer that. So, Novinger, is that something that is a rumor or did that just happen? Did that just happen? In regards to the potential of Patrick DeMarco. I think that'd be cool. I think it'd be great. You know, it would be cool because P. DeMarco played at USC. So that'd be awesome. On the other hand, you know, you brought in Austin Stogner. You have Jaheim Bell. You got these big-time tight ends. Like, maybe we should go get a big-time tight end coach. Maybe we should. So, Coach Ford, per sources season, my guy. Per sources season. Per sources season. And per sources, you shouldn't freak out. I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, back to the basketball side of things, guys, really quickly, because, again, I want to reiterate my point. I don't really know if I did a great job of articulating it earlier, but if you listen to the podcast this morning, episode 590, I thought I did a pretty decent job. Again, tough loss last night. We knew it was a bad matchup. And, of course, the chatter around Frank Martin starts up again when we lose and what have you. Gamecocks basketball under Frank Martin is what it is. And again, as I said earlier, I'm not saying that in a negative way. Like, we're not a dumpster fire type of program. We're not finishing 13th and 14th in the SEC. Frank Martin has elevated South Carolina basketball since he took over as head coach. But I kind of chuckle when I see people act surprised at our tendencies. Like, this is Frank Martin basketball. We're going to win just enough to keep things interesting and keep you invested, but we're going to lose enough to where we're never really going to win anything of major significance. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. The basketball program under Frank Martin is what it is. Again, we're going to win some nice games. We're going to beat some teams we shouldn't, but we're going to have nights like last night where when we lose in style. And we're going to lose some that maybe we shouldn't. That's just sort of where you are. And so I think that's what's tough for fans to live with. And again, I'm not even saying it in a negative way because it's not like the men's basketball program is just a total dumpster fire. But you're just sort of stuck in that rut of, you know, we're just good enough to make it fun, but we're not good enough to win anything of significance. And there's a lot of basketball left, but that's sort of where you are as a program. That's where you are right now. Outside of one magical run in March of 2017, that's been the case for a decade. That's where you are. So, I mean, again, it could be a lot worse. It definitely could be a lot worse. It could. The question South Carolina has to answer, its fans, its administration, higher-ups, is that good enough? Is that good enough for you? Is that good enough? Because if it is, so be it. And I will stop setting expectations that are apparently unfair expectations of making the tournament, say, 3 to 4 times a decade. I will stop setting those type of expectations, or even stop thinking that those type of expectations are realistic for the basketball program. If that's good enough, so be it. If those are the expectations and the standards to just be competitive enough to put butts in the seats, then so be it. Then so be it. And it is what it is, and you are who you are. That'll be the question we have to answer, though, because, again, we're going to win some more games. We're going to win some more games. We're going to go back and forth, back and forth. We're going to play great one night and terrible the next. And we're going to have a typical Frank Martin season. right around 500, maybe just below it. Is that good enough on a year-in, year-out basis? Because I kind of feel like that's the ceiling under Frank Martin. I just, after 10 years, you are who you are. And I'm not saying that in a negative, but you are who you are. And no hot streak or cold streak will change that. And boy, when we lose with style. We lose with pizzazz. We don't just lose. We get our fucking shit kicked in. We lose, goddammit. We lose. Excuse my language, but we lose. Boy, we lose with some fashion, buddy. We lose with fashion. So, apologies for the PG ears in the room. Let's see. Courtney Washington, maybe Kimmery wanted to coach in college, found out he likes to coach high school better. Maybe he really didn't like the side of recruiting. Maybe he didn't. Maybe that's a good point. Recruiting's hard. Recruiting's tough. Recruiting's very tough. Brian McGuffey, this is the type of game Frank Martin has lost every season, but win a few games, get blown out in embarrassing fashion. I mean, again, what's scary is we are 4-5 in SEC play, and 3 of our 4 wins are against Vanderbilt twice and Georgia. So that's, hey, great opportunity this weekend. Wasn't your night last night? That's totally fine. You want to point to that? Totally fine. And I'm not giving up on the rest of the season. Hey, as I said at the end of the podcast today, pack CLA. Pack CLA. Support the boys. Pack CLA. Right? Because you never know what win could spark a season. But realistically, looking at the rest of the year, I still, we're going to win some games. We're not 6-12 bad in the SEC like I predicted in the preseason. We're not that bad. We're better than that. I'm happy to say we're better than that. But we're not NCAA tournament good. We're just sort of there. And that's who you are under Frank Martin. Is it good enough? That's the question you'll have to answer. Again, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Again, John R. Wilson, where's Kimmery going to coach football? Hey, we don't know. Nothing's confirmed. Nothing's been reported. All speculation, all rumors. We've been talking about a lot in the Big Cock Club, but all just speculation. He said, she said, per sources, whatever. Jeff Gullidge, you've talked about this before. If we like where we are in basketball, in football, he says, if we were like where we are in basketball and football, there'd be an uproar. As a fan base in the school, why don't we have the same expectations for our basketball team and hold them to the same standards like we do with football? And I'll tell you why, Jeff, because the standards and expectations for Gamecocks basketball are so pathetically low. They're pathetically low. And not Courtney Washington or nobody else can change my mind on that. They're pathetically low. Pathetically low. That's why. That's why. That's why when you just even question the direction of the program under Frank Martin, you get called a lunatic. And people wanted to kick you from the fan base. Because the expectations are so pathetically low that, I mean, what Frank Martin's done, he has had the best decade, which is sad. Which is sad. It is. It's sad. I mean, it's not like we've had a ton of success. But the expectations are so pathetically low, It's like a golfer, right? He shoots 150 every time he plays. And he shoots 130 and he's popping champagne. His expectations are just so pathetically low. Everything's a success. Winning one game's a success. That's just my opinion. Show me. If you want to make me feel differently, then show me. Show me. And I've said it before, I don't dislike Frank Martin, no vitriol, but it's just a vicious cycle of the same thing over and over. And Courtney Washington, it's a hard job. That's why they look. Well, Courtney, if you want to crutch here and crutch there and excuse here and excuse, so be it. Again, then I'll stop watching basketball. We will stop covering it. I will put all of my resources into covering women's basketball since they have expectations and standards of winning. I mean, if it's just that hard and that impossible, Courtney, then we need. Hey, somebody called. I forget exactly who it was. Called a couple weeks ago. Said we need to take money and resources out of this sport and that sport and just put it all into football. Courtney, if that's the case, take all the money out of basketball, put it all into football. I'm not even joking. Take it all. Just take it all. Take every penny they got and put it into football because it don't matter anyways. I'm obviously over-exaggerating, but like when you say stuff like that, it just... Anyways. Now, back to the... Let's see. Let me get back to your questions. I'm rambling a little bit too much. I know some of you... It's funny. Some tune in for the rambling and the rant. Some tune in to actually have their questions answered. All are valuable. So I thank you all and appreciate you all. Again, guys, we will be streaming Shane Beamer's presser here at 2 o'clock. We will. So, Courtney Washington, I've watched SEC basketball. This conference deserves 10 teams in the tournament, and we are one of them. Courtney, I'll tell you this. Hey, you might be right. In the long run, you might be right. Who knows? We got to beat somebody else besides Vanderbilt and Georgia for me to believe in that. Personally, and I'll go on record. We make the NCAA tournament, Courtney. I will never say a bad word about Frank Martin ever again. Ever again. Ever. I will never speak ill of Frank Martin ever again if we make the tournament this year. Never. Never. I like this team. I know this team can get hot. We understand that. I will literally, I will be flabbergasted if we make the tournament. Rakeem Sprinkle, everybody hates a winner, man. Everybody hates somebody who's good. That's why people talk down on Spencer Rattler, and they're just pissed off we got him. That's why. I would pay it no mind, my guy. I would pay it no mind. Taylor Novinger, would you consider Frank the best coach since Frank McGuire? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, who else would be in the running? Dave Odom? And I like Dave Odom. I actually like Dave Odom a lot. John R. Wilson, update on who's been brought on the football team last couple of days. We've added a lot of PWOs, man. We've added so many PWOs you can barely even keep up. We've added, let's see, running back DJ Twitty, defensive back Noah Abrams, linebacker Colby Bryant. We added a kicker from freaking Arizona State in Jack Luckhurst. We've added a lot of dudes, a lot of PWOs. So hopefully guys that can help us. Shane Beamer knows what he's doing. John R. Wilson, got to say this. What do you think about Kevin Steele leaving from Maryland from Miami? Business of coaching. Just happens. Business of coaching. Have fun, Jay Sean Barham. Let's see. Again, guys, a lot to get into today. A lot to discuss. Again, I would not be – I'm excited to hear what Shane Beamer has to say. I would not be hitting the panic button on what has gone down today. And I want to say this too, and I know he'll never stop commenting, but I value Coach Ford's perspective and opinion. But what I don't like is just immediately going for the panic button, immediately going to it. Everybody was all happy and quiet after we beat UNC. I mean, now it just completely flips back to doom and gloom, burn it down. Like, we got to find some sort of a middle ground. Let's at least give Beamer the opportunity to speak on it. That's all I'm saying. Justin Kyle, what happened today? Well, my friend, have I got some news for you. Connor Shaw has departed from his position as the Director of Player Development. Connor Shaw no longer with Gamecock football. Eric Kimry, also no longer with Gamecocks football as the tight ends coach. So those two departures have happened. Outside of that, today is signing day. We've added some PWOs, but that's the big news that is shaking up Gamecock Nation today. Both Shaw and Kimry gone. So that's why everybody's got their panties in a wad, my guy. So Eric Reese, are you logging off after the presser? Yeah, Eric. Yeah, I got to, man. We got stuff to do. Yeah, I'm gonna stay live for the presser. I'm actually praying it's a shorter one because again we're live. Don't forget we're live at 10 Roof tonight, 5 to 7. We're doing a giveaway tonight at Pinch around 9:30 or so. So my Wednesdays are already slammed, and Shane Beamer is having a presser. So we will stay tuned for the presser. I might give like 2 minutes of synopsis, but you guys can tune to the podcast tomorrow, and also. You can tune into 10 Roof tonight, and I'll give you guys my full thoughts on that. Coach Forrest never said Satterfield was the reason these coaches left, but Satterfield's not the reason we look good in the bowl game. UNC defense sucked Do you really believe as a grown man that we suddenly became good? Coach Ford, at least you acknowledge who a grown man really is. So Coach Ford, you're giving him no credit. I mean, I'm not going to say Satterfield's 110% the reason that we did what we did, but I mean, see, you can't have. I don't like that energy, Coach Ford. I don't like that energy. I don't like that energy. You can't just constantly slam. You can't constantly slam someone for doing a horrid job, and then when they finally do a good job, you're like, oh well, it wasn't them though. I mean, come on, man. That energy's weak, dude. That energy's so weak. I'm not saying again, crown him for it, but tip your cap when a job was well done. I mean, and a job was well done. I mean, was he not calling the plays? I mean, was he not calling the plays? Well, Coach Ford, you have a previous agenda, man. I get it. You want Sat fired. There's no changing you. You got a previous agenda. I get it, man. I don't agree with that energy. Your opinion's your opinion. I respect your opinion, but I don't agree with that energy, man. Even the people I don't like, hey, I don't think Will Muschamp's a very good head coach, but even sometimes you had to say, hey, good job. That was a good job you did. Hey, 2019 Georgia, you did a good job. Some other games of the wins, you did a good job. As a whole, you're not very good. You can say that, but not all you did was bad. So if you can't at least admit that, man, I think that's weak. Personally, I think that's weak, but, doesn't mean I don't respect you. Doesn't mean I don't like you commenting, but I think that's weak energy. I think that's weak sauce. As we would say in the business, that's weak sauce. That's weak sauce. You got to at least tip your cap and give credit when credit's due. So just my 2 cents. Just my 2 cents. Yeah, Coach Ford, we all want to see him improve. Yeah, and I agree, Coach Ford. Either they improve this year or he's done. He's done, no doubt. No, so Tin Roof is actually not 21 plus. Tin Roof is technically a restaurant until 10 p.m. So literally anyone can come. You do not have to be 21. Anyone can come to Tin Roof. Yes, please come out. Anyone can come. Anyone can come. Brandon says, I hope Beamer can start recruiting some better offensive linemen. I know fans want us to add some O-linemen, man. I've said this before. I mean, I think we're going to be depending on a lot of the guys we had last year. I know that scares some people, but we are. Tommy Wallace says, just maybe after many years of being a head coach in high school and then becoming an assistant at Carolina, Kimry missed being a head coach possibly. That's very possible. Yes, Tommy, that is very possible. I understand that Coach Kimry, Eric going to South Carolina, that was his dream job for sure. But yeah, maybe a year doing it, he's like, you know what? I got to do it. I got to live out my dream job, but I miss being the head guy. I miss being a head coach. And I don't think that's a crazy way of thinking. I don't think that's a crazy way of thinking. So. And I don't know, Coach Ford, that Shane Beamer will say it in that way. I mean, if he wants to say he's pursuing other opportunities, but maybe he doesn't want to ruin the – I don't know. I mean, he doesn't want to ruin the moment or that the official announcement or whatever. I mean, there's an announcement coming, guys, for sure. There's an announcement coming. No doubt. Robbie Davis. Yeah, we got to get you a Tin Roof, Robbie. Justin Langford says, Tin Roof signing day special presented by Chris Phillips. Absolutely, Mike. It's going to be a fun one at 10. It always is, but certainly on a day like today, night like tonight, guys. $3 drafts, $3 rumple shots, fantastic food, fantastic people. Pack 10 indeed. And might be feeling a little lucky tonight. I don't know. Might feel a little bit lucky tonight. We're already going to be in 5 points down at pinch, so might feel a little bit lucky tonight. You never know. Anyways, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Guys, we are going to jump into another break. This is fun, though. Time is flying by when you're having fun. Again, we will be tuned into Shane Beamer's presser at 2 o'clock, so do not go anywhere. And I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Again, truly appreciate you all tuning in, man. Listen, whether we agree, we disagree, everyone's opinion has value. And I truly appreciate you guys, man, providing the content, the banter, the beauties and the banters, I love to say. So thank you all so much for tuning in, your love, your support. Also, guys, really excited to announce the Burgie Barrels merch supporting Gamecocks catcher Colin Burgess has officially dropped over at tsus.store. tsus.store. You go there right now. You will see that merch available. Also, use the promo code Burgie, and you will get 10% off your entire purchase, not just that merchandise. Again, guys, when you buy the merch, you're not just supporting the Spurs Up Show. You're supporting a Gamecocks athlete because, again, of course, Colin Burgess, a TSUS athlete. So, again, go check out the merch, tsus.store. Use that promo code Burgie for 10% off and support Gamecocks catcher Colin Burgess. Also, we got all of our other South Carolina baseball merch as well. The Yardcock stuff, Heckle Juice, all that good stuff. So, again, be sure to check that out. A lot of fire over on the store. And, of course, want to continue to hear from you, your questions, your comments, and your calls. Connor Lee, I appreciate it, my guy. Ben Rose, let's see. Courtney going back and forth to people about this team making the tournament. Listen, Courtney, if the SEC gets 10 in, 12 in, hell, if they get all 14 in, so be it, whatever. We'll see. I don't think it's going to happen. I think most don't think it's going to happen. You know what? I'd love to be wrong, though, Courtney. We all want the same thing, which is see South Carolina basketball playing in the postseason. We do. So, I'd love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it. No doubt. No doubt. But anyways, yeah. Tim Twitty says, I heard that Step may also be leaving. Have you heard anything about that? Tim, no, I have not. Well, actually, I'll say this. I've seen all the rumors floating around. Tim, where this is coming from, here's where this is coming from. That speculation is coming from the rumor that began during the season that Marcus Satterfield is toxic and he doesn't get along with the coaching staff, and Eric Kimrey's going to leave, and Justin Stepp's going to leave, and this coach is going to leave, and that coach is going to leave. So I think a lot of people are just assuming it's going to happen. I think they're assuming it's going to happen. Have we heard anything concrete that says it's going to happen? No, we have not. So I have not heard anything worth listening to, no offense to anybody, but worth listening to that tells me that that's happening. So, let's see. Corey Washington says, I think they're only letting 6 to 8 in. If we couldn't get in with 20 wins, we're not getting in this year. I mean, yeah, I mean, Courtney, I don't think it's a hot take to say we're not going to make the NCAA tournament. Come on. Schedule only gets tougher, and yeah. So, again, guys, in case you missed it, we will be tuned in live here, right here, for Shane Beamer's presser at 2 o'clock. Luke RJ, what was the clip about you saying you're a competitive asshole? The clip looked like it was on the Daily Crow yesterday. It was the Daily Crow, Luke. So what I've gotten to a habit of doing, what I like to do is I'll take like small clips, and I actually know of one already in my head from this Daily Crow today. I'll just take small clips like out of context because I just think it's funny. You know what I mean? We like to have fun with the content and sort of play around, if you will. So that was sort of an out of context post talking about Gamecocks content and all that. But yeah, I thought it was funny. So Tommy Wallace is all the positive momentum right now with football. It's a great time for Beamer to be able to hire good coaches to his staff. Just keep getting better. Trust Coach Beamer. Indeed. And again, really excited to hear Shane Beamer at 2 o'clock. I understand why fans took it so hard this morning. Number one, it's abrupt. But number two, these are Gamecocks. They're not just – it's not just a tight ends coach. It's not just a director of player development. It's Connor Shaw and Eric Kimrey. That's what really hurts people. That's what irks people, if you will. So I get it. I understand that, guys. I would again say, though, Shane Beamer's going to speak at 2 o'clock. But I'm not hitting the panic button, man. I mean, things happen. People want to go different directions. They want to take different opportunities. It's not an indictment on Shane Beamer. It's not an indictment on the program. It's not even an indictment on Marcus Satterfield. At least not that we know of right now. So I'm not hitting the panic button, and I don't feel like you should either. I'm not hitting the panic button. I feel like you shouldn't either. Whatever you want to do is fine, but I'm not hitting the panic button. I mean, guys, we were just this time last week, people were calling in, man, do you think we can go win 10 games? Do you think we could win the SEC this year, be a dark horse? Like, come on, guys. Like, let's not change it up that much. Let's not change up the energy that much. Come on now. Let's see. Eric Reese throwing the helmet behind you. PWO, I'm going to be a PWO either quarterback or wide receiver for sure. Offensive guy. Yeah, offensive guy for sure. Yep. I'll go take some reps. Per sources season, my guy. Well, here's the problem, by the way, Connor, of throwing the helmet on. This is like a replica helmet. So there's like a little pad there. Now I got one right here. That I could throw on. And I feel like now it's been requested. Now it's been requested. So do not fear. The best PWO in the land is here. Do not fear. Here we go. Let's jump to the phone lines.
Call from
Brian Lattimore.
Brian, what's up, my guy?
Hey, I'm just trying to see if this works out a little bit better. So let me know.
Yeah. You're much better this time. Much better this time.
Sweet. So if you want to go play some receiver or something, I can play quarterback for you. You know, I got it in me.
Let's do it. Why not?
Sounds like a good time. Now, I just wanted to call in and talk some basketball real quick. So I don't understand what do people look at this team and what stands out to them to say that we're a SEC tournament team, or not an SEC tournament, but a tournament team. But I don't see anything about this team that really screams to me, hey, we deserve to be there.
I mean, here's the thing. It doesn't matter whether we think we deserve to be there or not. You got to win enough to get there. So, again, a lot of season to play out, but yeah, gun to head right now, man. I would just ask you this question: is like, knowing what you know about Gamecocks basketball and the history of it under Frank Martin, why would you pick this team to go to the tournament? Because it's obviously been proven in a decade that making the tournament is the outlier. It's not the rule. It's the exception. So, I mean, I don't, statistics and previous results show you that's not going to happen, right? I mean.
And if you want my personal opinion on that, I think we got lucky. You just got lucky with, a couple guys that really just carried the program. So whether or not you're able to get a couple of those guys to do that in the future, it happens. Every once in a while you get, you blind luck and you get struck with, a really good player that, just evolves into a really great player. But, just this team just doesn't scream that to me by any means. Mississippi State is a true bubble team. I don't think there's any disputing that. They might make it, but they're a bubble team. And they spanked us. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, I know it was ugly. 27 points. I mean, you made a 13-0 run to lose by 14 points. So, all of the – I mean, that's the thing. All of the errors and the deficiencies and things that have killed us, I mean, they haven't really gone away. We're still kind of doing the same thing we've been doing all season. Turnovers hurt us a lot at times. We have more than the capability to go ice cold. When Frank Martin, I just feel like, again, I don't pretend to be like a basketball savant or like I'm the basketball expert over here, but this is just me watching us play. Like when Frank Martin's system and style works, that hard-nosed defense he wants to play, like all that, like when it works, hey, it's fun to watch. But man, when it doesn't, we get our shit kicked in. I mean, like offensively, we just can't keep up. We just can't keep up with people. If we're not playing elite level defense, We can't keep up. So, and of course, last night, I mean, Mississippi State, they couldn't miss anything. So, but it just goes back to this, man. You keep falling behind early on, and it's going to kill you. It's just going to flat out kill you. And at this point, I think I don't know why this team gets off to such bad starts. I really don't get it. But you can't depend on a 23-0 run in the second half every game. You just can't do it. So, yeah, I mean, listen, when I look at this team, and I don't think it's a hot take at all, I don't see a tournament team. I'd love to be proven wrong. I don't see it. And again, I don't think that's a bold take at all.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the 13-0 run. I mean, we switched up our pressure. We started doing, half-court pressure or whatever. Mississippi State was up so much that it didn't matter at that point. We weren't coming back from that. It was fun to think about. The what if, we could come back, from a 27-point deficit. It wasn't going to happen. They knew that. You can't wait to make adjustments, and I can't even say you can't wait to make adjustments. You can't maintain half-court pressure all game. You can't do it. So, yeah, it looked great at the end, but that's not a realistic way that you're going to win games.
Right.
Maybe if you can keep the game close going into that last bit, maybe, but you dug such a deep hole that there's no way you were going to climb out of it. So, I don't know. Whenever you get to this point, you're basically looking at, if you want to make the tournament, I wouldn't even say you have to steal a game. You got to perform a bank heist to get, anywhere close to the tournament at this point. You got to steal a game from a team that you're really not supposed to beat. So,
and again, Brian, it's like I said earlier, like we've been in this position. This feels like a yearly thing. And again, I'm not even saying it in a negative, because again, our program's not a dumpster fire. Like I'm letting cool heads prevail right now. Our program's not a dumpster fire. We're not, we're not finishing 13th or 14th in the SEC. We're not Georgia, right? We're not just completely terrible. But I guess the question I would pose, has the program plateaued? Because we're kind of doing the same thing every year. I mean, this is a typical Frank Martin year. We're going to have some nice wins. We're going to fight. We're going to be competitive. Every single year they say the same thing about Frank Martin teams. If you listen to the analysts, they're a tough out. Everybody hates to play Frank Martin. Everybody hates to play a Frank Martin team. And we're going to be a stingy, like an annoying gnat that just won't go away. But we're not going to win anything, or we're not going to win enough to win anything of significance. And again, it just comes back, is that okay? Is that good enough? Is that good enough? Is it just to continue doing that over and over and keep doing that and just keeping your fingers crossed and just hoping that, you somehow run into a 2016, 2017 season again? You know what I mean? With no real evidence that it will happen again. I'm not saying that in a negative way. Like I said, not saying that in an attacking Frank Martin way, but get rid of hot streaks, get rid of cold streaks. At some point, you just are who you are. And I just feel like, unless I see different, prove me wrong. We just are who we are. That's it. We are who we are. So, and I'm not saying that's a good thing, not saying it's a bad thing, but it just is what it is. So I ask, is that good enough? Should we be just happy with basketball? Just, we're just good enough to keep things interesting. It's just, hey, we're just good enough for me to make content around it, talk about it, but we're never going to cover an NCAA tournament. We're not going to cover us winning a title of any sort. That's where I fall. And I think that's why a lot of Gamecock fans check out, because nobody wants to watch a team that they feel like is playing for nothing. I mean, I hate to phrase it that way, but is that not true? I mean, if you're not playing to win a title or something of significance, you're playing for nothing, right? Football is playing to win an SEC. Baseball is playing to win a national title again. What's basketball playing for? What are we actually playing for? I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. So,
it's one thing to be happy about the Final Four run, but if you want my personal opinion, you could throw the Final Four run in the trash. Give me a team that's on the bubble every year, that makes the tournament. Maybe goes a little deep. Maybe a Sweet 16 here or there. But at the very least, there's zero reason I see that we shouldn't make the NIT every single year. Maybe you could take 1 year out of there.
Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty fair. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah.
I can't see it. I would trade it for a heartbeat. As much as that Final Four run was awesome, I want consistency in the program, something that I can watch and be proud of as a team. I can't watch this current basketball team. It puts me to sleep.
I mean, let me ask you a question. Should Chad Holbrook have been retained at South Carolina because he was an assistant coach on the national title team? Should he just had a lifetime contract? I mean, but again, what's so funny to me, my guy, is that we're going into year five, season 4 of Mark Kingston. And I have people tell me, well, it's a Kingston team, so we can't hit. Like, they're just drawing conclusions. We can't hit. That's a staple of his team. We can't hit. But yet with Frank Martin in year 10, people act surprised when we do certain things. They act surprised when we miss free throws. They act surprised when we foul. They act surprised when we get blown out or lose games inexplicably. I'm like, we've been doing this. This is not new. Like, we're doing exactly kind of what I thought we were going to do. You know, again, we're not 6-12 in the SEC bad like I predict. I don't think we are. I surely hope not. But we're not, you know, we're kind of just doing what we normally do. And that's okay, but is it good enough? That's all I'm asking. So, yeah, I mean, the Final Four was awesome, man. Nobody's taken away. The Final Four will always be awesome. We will always look back on that time with reverence. But, man, you can't just rest your laurels on that and say, well, we'll just kick our feet up and continue to look at the Final Four banner forever. Hey, it's just like football, man. At some point, we want new highlights. I don't want to have to watch 2010-13 every year to get hyped up. Like, I want new highlights, you know? So, I don't know, man. Again, that's why, like, earlier in the season when I talked about apathy and people caring and being invested, that's what I mean. Because when you're not playing for something, you're playing for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have some sort. Standards and expectations are a blessing. They're a good thing. They're a really good thing, you know? That means it's important to you. You know, that's why, you know, smaller schools or whatever, like, that's why Newberry is not on ESPN, my guy. That's why, you know, and I went there, and I'll say that. I mean, that's why, you know, trying to think off the top of my head, just like other schools, that's why Augusta State, though, is not on ESPN. Like, what's at stake? What are the standards? It doesn't move the needle, man, because there is no real end goal, I guess. I don't know. I just – it's interesting times right now for Gamecocks basketball, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned, you know, the comparison with the baseball program. You know, at least the boys baseball program, you look at it and you think, all right, we could be better than we were last year. You know, this year could be the year. You know, I don't see a single series on the schedule that we can't win. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like, going into every one of those series, we have a chance of winning those series. Going into some of these basketball games, I'm like, man, I don't even know if I want to watch. This is going to be horrible. Like, there's no chance we beat, you know, this team. So, year 10, you have nothing new that's popping up in my eyes. You know, it'd be one thing if we came to the season, we had some sort of surprise, some sort of, you know, something to talk about, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we had a little bit of excitement at the very beginning, but it quickly vanished. And we got it a little bit back, and we're all just sitting here waiting. All right, when's it going to go away again?
Mm.
So it went away again. I don't see it coming back. You know, you got a much tougher slate of games coming up. I don't see us capturing, you know, lightning in a bottle.
Mm. Yeah, and that's what you'll have to do. That's what you'll have to do. I mean, listen, shooters shoot, and if we get hot, I guess who knows? But realistically, yeah, I think 9-9 is the ceiling in conference play. We're 4-5 right now. Just to say we'd finish 5-4. I mean, that feels a little aggressive, my guy. I ain't gonna lie. That feels a little aggressive. And I feel confident we'll beat Georgia again. You know, for sure. Outside of that, I mean, who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? So,
if we somehow manage to do it, I'll eat my words.
Yeah.
But I will not look back and say, you know, I was wrong for thinking so.
Yeah.
You know, this is a realistic output. You know, I try not to be pessimistic. I try not to be too optimistic. But somewhere, you know, right there in the middle, and I feel like that's where we're at.
Yeah.
This is realism talking. This is where we are. This is what we are.
Yeah. For sure.
Anyways, we'll watch the games. We'll see how it turns out. And, you know, God forbid, I hope I am wrong. Hopefully we win out and, you know, hopefully we win a national title somehow or another.
All we can do, my guy. Hey, I appreciate you as always, Brian. We're going to jump into a break and then get in this Beamer presser, but appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
Later.
good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and jump into a break, guys. We do have the Beamer presser coming up at 2 o'clock, so I want to go ahead and take one more break before that. But I want to hear from you. 843-790-3377. 7 more, your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Taking your questions, your comments, your calls. Also, we await Shane Beamer speaking to the media at 2 o'clock. And obviously, he's got a lot to address here on this Wednesday. Justin Kyle says, here we go. There's tons of series I could see us losing. I've been on the Martin and Kingston can go both go for months. When you have multiple sources saying they wouldn't be surprised if our baseball team won't make a regional, we should host a regional every year in baseball. Kingston is Holbrook Sloan. Justin Kyle, I got a challenge for you. Name your sources who have said that, and I will wait. Go ahead. I will wait for the sources that have said we're not going to make a regional. Go ahead. Go ahead. Name them. Name the sources. Just going to wait for Justin Kyle to enlighten me on who has said that. Who with an opinion that means anything has said that? Let me actually say that too. So, Justin Kyle, waiting on you, buddy. Waiting on you, big dog. Going once, going twice. Okay. All right. Anyways, moving on. Let's see again. Very excited to see what Shane Beamer has to say at 2 o'clock. Obviously, getting a lot to address. Elizabeth Powell, I think we're going to have a good team this year for baseball. I do too, Elizabeth. Again, I haven't dropped my official predictions, but I've watched this team. I've been out to the scrimmages. I'll be there tomorrow. I think we got a solid club. But again, I'll lock in official predictions. I got you. I got you. I got you. I really, truly wonder who the sources are because D1Baseball.com has us as a regional team. So, like, who has said that? What sources have said that? Because I know no Gamecock sources have said that. I wouldn't think so. Renee Benson Sellers says, have you addressed Shaw leaving? Yes, I talked about it earlier in the show. We can certainly speak on it again. Connor Shaw departing. Listen, I think it's one of those things that Connor Shaw did not want to be a director of player development for the rest of his life. I think Connor Shaw is someone, let me put it this way. I think Connor Shaw is someone who is not defined by the game of football. Listen, I've had Connor on the show, had conversations with Connor, and, he made it very clear that, the coaching lifestyle, and I just think he's not defined by the game of football. He's got a family, got a wife, got kids. He's running camps. There are things he wants to do, whether it be in football, but outside the game as well. So, I think it's one of those things that, maybe he didn't want to be a director of player development for the rest of his entire life. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's sure he was making solid money, but it's not always about money. Like, maybe he wants to pursue other opportunities. I don't think that's an indictment on South Carolina. And I know that one hurts because Shaw is our guy. Shaw is a Gamecock legend, greatest quarterback who ever played. But, I don't look at it as some negative that, oh my God, he's leaving because the program's toxic or this. Like, I think it's just he's just making a decision he's a grown man making a decision for himself. So. So I would not hit the panic button, folks. I would not hit the panic button. Things happen. Business decisions are made. Business is business, and you keep it moving. Bottom line, Shane Beamer will hire the guys we need. And, again, coaching is a very fluid thing, man. It just changes happen all the time. Everybody's got a different situation. Money does come up for some people. Sometimes a head coach wants to make a change. I mean, listen, I talked about it, the cutthroat business that is college coaching. I talked about it over the course of the season that, it's not for the faint of heart, man. It's really not. So, Brandon, I have no idea who the new tight ends coach will be. I haven't done any research on who it might be. This just happened. Before we went live. So I do not know. So, again, guys, we will be tuned in right here at 2 o'clock. We'll continue to roll through the Daily Crow. We'll be tuned in to Shane Beamer's presser at 2 p.m. We will be tuned in. Kyle Strickland, who takes the Clemson-Carolina baseball series this year. We'll wait till the week of the series. Let's not spoil predictions. So, Justin Kyle says, sorry I missed you trying to call me. Justin, I'm not calling you out. I'm just asking for your sources. That's it. Was it anybody worth a damn? Said it was a few sources I'm sure were not relevant people, but they all said with the question marks at pitching and dismal hitting through the Kingston years, wouldn't be surprised to see the team finish in the bottom half of the East and miss the postseason, which I find hard. We won't be a top 64 team to even be in a regional somewhere. Justin, I hear you, man. Hey, listen, everybody's opinion has weight. That's all cool. That's great. But some random fan just saying we're not going to make the postseason, I mean, I say take it with a grain of salt, my guy. Take it with those are the same people that were having a bitch fit because we walked 4 guys in a scrimmage. I mean, come on, give me a break, man. Give me a break. We very well may miss the postseason, but it ain't because we had a bad scrimmage. I promise you. I promise you, man. It's just like what's weird to me, I almost feel like there are people that want Gamecock baseball to do bad. Like they want to be, they don't like Kingston and they want to be right about it. And I'm not saying Kingston's going to take this team to Omaha, but it's strange. Like I look at this team. Hear me out, Justin Kyle. I look at this team. We're very similar to last year. We lost some arms, but we've exponentially upgraded across the infield. The lineup should be worlds better. And I think from what I've seen, we have enough arms to piece it together in the bullpen. I'll tell you what, I'd be pretty damn surprised if we missed the postseason. I'd be pretty damn surprised. So, and hey, if we do, I won't have to say a word. Gamecock fans will give Mark Kingston helicorder. Okay, looks like they just went live, guys. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. We don't want to miss anything from this presser, obviously. Huge presser. A lot to be discussed. So, hey, again, Justin, it's all good, Justin. If you don't think we're going to make the postseason, I respect all opinions, but I just wonder who the sources were. Was it Gamecock sources? I know it wasn't D1 Baseball. Was it Baseball America? I mean, I was just curious. Like, well, do they know something I don't? I want to be in the know. I want to know. So, let's see. Let me make sure. Okay, cool. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Take myself off. Just a couple. That's crazy thing you were talking about. If Kingston missed the postseason, we want him fired. Martin can go 17-15. It's like, oh, we'll see you next year. Justin, I don't disagree with that at all, man. It's the standards, and I understand they're different sports, and our standards should be higher for baseball than basketball, but it is kind of crazy. All right, let's go ahead and share this, guys, and then we will take comments for about 5 minutes or so afterwards. Here we go.
Yeah. Put him in the chair I was in for my press conference.
All right, I think we're ready to begin. Coach, make an opening statement. We'll open up with questions.
All right, great. Appreciate everybody coming out. Hope everybody's having an awesome week. Obviously, February signing day is a little bit different than years past. With the signing period in December was with Robbie Lyles. Many of you know Robbie from his time here before. I was with Robbie last night at an event in Charleston, and we were laughing about how in February, the old signing days when guys like Sterling signed, you were in here early, and his job was to put the paper in the fax machine and make sure it was ready to go and get the biscuits in and all that stuff as well. I'm not like that anymore. That's what December is now. But certainly a lot has changed with our program since the December signing period with the young men that we've added to our program via the transfer portal. So excited about those guys as well, and the way that we've improved our roster. It's a really good group of guys that we've brought in, and coming out of the December signing period, knowing where we were and some issues that we had at certain positions that we knew we needed to take care of, we were very strategic in how we did that with attacking the guys that were in the transfer portal at certain positions, and making sure, one, they're great players, but two, they're the kind of people that we want to bring into this program as well, and had some fantastic visits with all these guys, and fortunate that we've been able to bring these guys into the program, and excited about the impact they've made on our program already and what they'll continue to do going forward as well. So I'll let you guys talk about or ask about any of those guys individually as we go forward, but really excited about the group. It's good to be back in the office from being on the road the last couple weeks. Certainly recruiting is the lifeblood of any program, so I love going out to high schools and love, being able to go into homes and sit down with young men. But the best part of the job is being here in the building with our guys, and have missed being around them. So it's great to be back and get entrenched with them here in February. They've been with Coach Day and the weight room, the strength and conditioning staff since they came back early in January. And then they're doing an awesome job in there. Really excited about the work they're putting in, and it's great that we're now back as coaches and have a chance to jump into the middle of that and get back into football. As we go through the month of February, and then gearing up for spring practice, which is right around the corner. Practice number 1 on March 15th, that Tuesday. So a lot of work that we have to get done as a football team before then, from a self-scout standpoint, going back, reviewing last season, then preparing for spring practice. We have a lot that we have to get done here in the next month as we continue to recruit as well, and take advantage of this awesome momentum and awesome energy that we have in this program since the bowl game and since what we did last season as well. Excited that we've been able to add a guy like Sterling Lucas to our program. I know I talked about him the last time we met when he had first gotten hired, but he wasn't here, that day as well. So it's the first time you guys are having a chance to visit with him. But I was excited about this hire when we decided to hire Sterling, and then after having a chance to be around him the last couple of weeks on the road recruiting, even more excited. I know Coach White is very fired up about what he'll bring to the table, what Sterling will bring to the table from a football standpoint with his knowledge and the systems that he's been around in the NFL. But he's hungry and eager to recruit and has done a great job on the road. I know Coach White put it out on Twitter. We were with him in Jacksonville about 2 weeks ago, and he told him that was training day for Sterling. So we flew down there, got down to Lake City, Florida about 8 o'clock in the morning, and spent all day driving around Florida, finished up in Jacksonville, and then I flew back to Columbia, and Coach White drove somewhere and Sterling drove somewhere. So it was like sending your son off to college, watching him drive off on his own to go recruit by himself the next day. But he survived those last 2 weeks, and Coach White trained him well. But in all seriousness, he'll be a great resource for the players that we have in the program, and a great recruiter. South Carolina native, Orangeburg Wilkinson grad, and one of the ones that we let get away, one of the very few we let get away back in high school when he chose to go to a different school to play. But certainly fired up that he and his family are back in Columbia right now. And then before we get into any questions, I know it's come out with Coach Kimmery and Connor leaving the program. Wish those guys well. Those guys are leaving on fantastic terms here at South Carolina. Eric and I have been talking about this potential opportunity for the last 2.5 weeks. that he had, and I know that wasn't an easy decision for him. I'll let him talk about his situation more when he's ready to do that. But, I can say that it wasn't an easy decision for him. He loves this place, but what a great opportunity for he and his family, and excited for him, thankful for him and the impact he made on our program in year one. I know how much he loves Columbia. I know how much he loves the University of South Carolina, and excited for the next chapter with him. And like I told him yesterday, he and his family, they're Gamecocks, and they're always welcome here. And then same thing with Connor. Also, this is something that Connor and I have been talking about for, I don't know, week and a half or so. Also, an opportunity for Connor to Connor's brilliant and will be successful in anything that he wants to do, and this is an opportunity for him that's a new challenge outside the athletics world. That was something that he was in a little bit before he came to work here, at Carolina, and an opportunity for him from a financial standpoint, long-term, everything. It was a great situation for him. And same thing with Connor. Like, he asked, can I come around regularly? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I mean, to me, the only difference is he's just not going to have an office downstairs, but he's still going to be around here a lot, still be around our players a lot, like I want all of our former players to be able to do as well. So Connor, no greater Gamecock than Connor Shaw, and hate that he's not going to be downstairs next to Derek Moore in that office each and every day, but love both those guys and wish them well, and excited for their futures as well. So with that, and before we get to Sterling, if anybody's got any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Shane, in terms of the class, I know the 7 of the freshmen early enrolled. Are all the transfers here? And then with your PWOs, how many of those guys can come here right away and go through spring?
Yes. Every transfer is here except Austin Stogner, and that's just because he's finishing up some classes at Oklahoma, but he won't be here. Austin won't be for spring practice physically, but he'll be able to come around, and be here. He just won't be in school here at Carolina. He needed, I think, 4 classes to graduate from Oklahoma, and I didn't want him to get that far and not be able to graduate. And then some of the walk-ons that we've added are here right now, and then the rest of those guys will be some of the ones from last weekend that made announcements will be here in June for summer school.
Shane, I know every situation is unique, especially with on-field roles as well. Talking with Eric, when you get to a time of the year like this, the NFL is going on. There's a lot of head coaching change, probably more this time than there's been in years past. As a college head coach, are you constantly thinking about that there could be possibilities? And obviously with Eric, it's a high school situation, but trying to monitor that, and do you kind of think ahead sometimes so that you are prepared if if an on-field coach does decide to leave?
Yeah, you always have to be. I remember when I got hired last year, there was another SEC head coach that I talked to and about this time, and he's like, really from the end of the bowl game until right now, it's like the worst time because you're constantly getting phone calls and things like that. And this year's been no different. And it's a good thing that we got a bunch of great coaches that people want to hire because, people want to talk about a couple of the guys that are leaving for great opportunities. But what doesn't get talked about is the amount of guys on our staff that have turned down jobs to stay here for a lot more money that they were getting offered. I've got 2 coaches on the offensive staff that have turned down multiple jobs in the last 3 weeks. One in the ACC, one in the SEC, one in the Big 12. I got another coach that's turned down a job in the ACC for more money than what they were making here at the time. So it's part of it, and we've got a fantastic staff, and that's evident that, people are trying to hire Eric Kimry and people outside of athletics are trying to hire Connor Shaw, and those are just some of the ones that are fresh in my mind because of the last couple of weeks. And not every one, not every one of those situations comes across my desk as well. I'm sure a lot of our coaches have gotten calls from schools and they just say, no, I'm not interested. But, those are 3 that I'm just using an example of 3 coaches here in the last 2 weeks that have turned down multiple jobs, to stay. So that's part of it. And I want to make this place a awesome place to work. And Columbia is a great place to live, and I want this to be an awesome environment for these coaches and their families where they don't want to leave. But certainly I don't ever want to keep a guy here that has opportunities to advance his career and do something better for their family as well. And I tell them that all the time. I mean, I'll pick up the phone and call anybody they want me to call for a situation that's better for them, promotion, whatever. But that's just part of being a, coming from the NFL. Those guys are under contract, but you have a little bit more flexibility. Administration gives me the resources to make this a great place to work and a great environment to be a part of also. I mean, you're under contract, but you have a little bit more flexibility. But again, we want to make this a great place to work, and I'm thankful that our administration gives me the resources to make this a great place to work and a great environment to be a part of also.
Shane, has it been difficult at all to get accustomed to this new rhythm of recruiting, December, transfers, February? And is there anything about this process going forward you think maybe could be streamlined or changed?
Yeah, it's certainly different. Last year was different because I was getting hired and I'm trying to figure out what's going on in this building, and we weren't able to go on the road recruiting last year because of COVID restrictions and the dead period. This year you're able to go on the road recruiting in December and January, but then you're also balancing, the transfer portal. And normally, when that, I think we talked about it in the last time in that last press conference we had, normally the bowl game ends and you get a little bit of a chance to breathe and relax before you go back out on the road recruiting and before your players come back. Well, this year you can't, because immediately transfer portals, that don't slow down. That only picks up right after the bowl game. So that part's been an adjustment. And certainly, like everything, there's ways to make it better. I've read a lot of the articles you guys have read, or probably some of you even written, just about the portal. And I know there's talk about windows of when you can enter the portal and things like that. So we'll see going forward, ways to make it better. And but it's part of it, and it's never ending, and it's just one of the million things that you're balancing: the portal, your own roster, high school recruiting, your staff. It's just it's an endless ball of fun.
Shane, speaking of your staff, in terms of filling Eric's role, what are you looking for at that spot in particular, and as a timeline with recruiting, with signing day done and spring not starting, what's that timeline look like for you?
Yeah, as quick as possible. We don't want to rush it for sure. And as you can imagine, I mean, as soon as that news broke, like I said, I was in Charleston at an event last night and got back, and that news came out, and I haven't even dared look at my phone since then because of how many missed calls and text messages I have. So there's no lack of interest in people that want to come here. But I'd like to do it as soon as possible, but also want to make sure that we get the right fit in here as well. But today is signing day. The coaches are going to have a long weekend off, a little break and a couple of days next week before we get back in here. But once we get back in here at the beginning of next week, we're really diving into, like I said, review from last season, and then what are we going to be about offensively, defensively, and special teams going into spring practice. So, it's tough when you have a coaching change, because now you've got to also get that guy caught up in what you're doing, from a systematic standpoint. So the quicker we can get somebody in here, the better. And to answer what you're looking for, just somebody that fits what this program's about, the culture that we have here. Great recruiter, great person, and great coach, somebody that can continue to add to the foundation that Eric laid with the tight ends this year, and continue to make that position even better.
Shane, as far as transfers go, you guys went out and signed a lot of guys that, at least on paper, seem like instant impact guys offensively. Mm-hmm. Just what do you kind of see from that group of guys, and as far as bringing transfers along, I guess what's kind of goes into that over the next few weeks, and getting those guys into the system and up to date with the playbook and everything kind of from there?
Yeah, really just that. One, I feel like we did impact guys, and we got some great returning players on offense, already. But you guys have heard me say it a million times, and I'll continue to say it for a long, long time, that we're about competition, and the more we can create competition at certain positions, the better. And we did that, at the running back position. We love the running backs we have coming back with Marshawn, Juju, and Rashad. But that's a position you need more than 3. And we've been able to go out and add some impact guys at that position. Wide receiver, continuing to increase the competition there. Everybody knows what Josh Fan did this year, and to carry on as he came on throughout the year as well. But continuing to increase the competition at that position, tight end position, quarterback position. And that's the biggest thing, is just get those guys up to speed. They're hungry. I mean, they jumped right in, and the last of them got here this week. Spencer got here Sunday night and started workouts in the weight room Tuesday with Coach Day. So he's in, but I just saw him down the hall. He's in there meeting with the offensive coaches and kind of getting up to speed on the offense and watching video and things like that. And he texted me last night about how great day 1 went and how much football he learned in just 1 day here, which was pretty cool to hear him say as well. But that's the main thing, getting them. They're jumping right into the weight room, physically get them going, mentally get them going with what we're allowed to do. The NCAA allows us time for football this time of year, so that's good. So get caught up to speed mentally. And then, the more they can just get indoctrinated in what we're doing, weight room, training room, nutrition, academics, throwing out there on their own, things like that.
You announced 21 signees. Can you explain in kind of simple terms for the simpletons here, what your numbers actually look like with the transfers counting, and do you still have some scholarships available for this class? What are your plans for that if that's the case?
Yeah, I wish I could put it in simple terms for the simpletons. Is that the word? I'm still trying to figure it out, Phil. I'll be honest with you. I've got all the scholarship numbers on my desk, and it looks like a bunch of hieroglyphics and all that stuff that I put on there. I got so much writing and things like that. We do have the ability to add some more players if we chose to. We're no one that we're actively recruiting right now as we speak for this year's class. I'm sure after spring practice across the country, you'll see some people that enter the transfer portal after spring practice, because they maybe find out that the roles on their team coming out of spring practice aren't quite what they want it to be. Hopefully that doesn't happen to us, but it's just the way it is nowadays. We may have some attrition here. I don't know. I hope not, but we'll see what happens after spring practice and what happens between now and then. But we do have some flexibility if we need to add some more players to the roster.
Hey, Coach, with Spencer now on campus, just how important was it to get him here early? I mean, especially as a quarterback going into spring ball.
Yeah, huge because of that, the quarterback position, just because it's such a, leadership position, and developing that chemistry with the receivers and tight ends and running backs and the offensive line and the entire team. And then just for any position, Mike, just come in here and say anything about anybody else that is stepping away from football without talking to them before announce it to you guys.
Yeah, and with a couple of specific of the transfer guys, Lavoisier in particular, obviously unique situation with him being committed here than playing at Georgia. And I guess what's that going to be like for him making the transition back to running back? Then specifically with Antoine Wells as well, what do y'all think he can add to the
Yeah, with Lavoisier, it was just wanting to play running back, and I don't want to speak for the coaches at Georgia, but I mean I think he was going to move back to running back at Georgia. And I wasn't here when he was getting recruited the first time here, but I know he loved this place and still has a lot of ties here in Columbia as well. I don't want to get into his personal business, but his girlfriend's in Columbia, so we had a heck of a ace in the hole with that one as well. That she was the best recruiter, knowing she was living in Columbia as well, wish every recruit was that easy. But and I hope she doesn't mind that I just announced that here in the press conference, their relationship. But he was, that was a natural fit because of that. And he loved this place, I know, coming out of high school. And I don't know what all happened leading up to signing day, but we talked about it a little bit. But he's a guy that, man, he's got great speed. And you watch his high school tape, I mean, it's impressive, just the speed and explosion that he puts on tape. And then with Juice Wells, he's went to James Madison and obviously had a great career there. He's a graduate of Highland Springs, which my mom is a Highland Springs High School, Virginia graduate as well, from the late 60s. But she's a proud Springer, and Juice's high school coach was in school with Torian and I at Virginia Tech, who I've known for, since 1995, I guess. So I know what the players that come out of that program are about. So there was a natural connection already. And when Juice went in the portal, we talked, and he had no shortage of schools that were interested in him, but he came down here and loved it. And I just love, he said in the recruiting process, he's like, Juice, said, I want to go somewhere where I'm going to be coached really, really hard and held accountable and pushed to be the best I can be. And he has got a strong work ethic and has got a great mentality, for that position that will make Josh and all of our receivers better.
Shane, obviously Eric and Connor have their reasons. For people outside of this room, though, they might be looking at it and thinking, because they're alums, might be panicking a little.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to those people about maybe trying to make something more than this is?
Just that, like I said a minute ago, we got a lot of people that are choosing to stay here, and this wasn't like Connor and Eric leaving here because they're unhappy. Let me say that again. This 1 trillion%, they are not leaving here because they don't like working here. It wasn't easy decisions, and it was emotional meetings with those guys, and I hate to see them go. And like I said, we got so many great things going on here in this program, and if people didn't enjoy working here, you wouldn't have had the amount of people that we've had on this staff that have turned down jobs throughout the Power Five schools across the country that turned down jobs from those guys to stay here. And I hate to see 2 former players walk out of here. But again, it's a situation that it's a better situation they feel like for their families and their lives and careers, and ultimately I want to support them in any way with that. And I'm sure Connor and Eric will speak about it publicly, but I would imagine they'd have nothing but amazing things to say about this place and how hard it was for them to leave it as well.
Hey, Coach, I just left DeQuandre Smith's signing day and everything. He's really excited about coming here. What were some of the things that you saw in him that made you say, okay, yeah, we want to recruit this guy and turn him into defensive?
Hold off on that one. I can't get into that one just yet.
Can't.
So
okay.
Not yet. So.
Oh yes, the Lev's not.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Shane, how's Luke's recovery going, and what will he be able to do, if anything, at spring?
Yeah, he's coming along great. I met with Clint Haggard, our head trainer, earlier this afternoon, and Luke's working really hard and is on a great track, to be healthy, and we're hopeful that he'll be able to do basically everything in spring practice. Hopefully, we're still, a little over a month away, but He's on track to a lot farther along than maybe what we anticipated him being at this point, and he looks great. I mean, when I see him walking around the building, I forget that he's rehabbing an injury still because he is moving around so well down there.
And forgot to ask about Christian Bill Smith. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, obviously the success that Wake Forest had last season was speaks for itself, and the fact that he was a regular contributor and a key contributor at running back for them. And I talked to some coaches at Wake Forest that I've got great relationships with when he was in the portal, and the thing they kept talking about is what a leader he is and what a dominant special teams player he is, and I know they're really going to miss him because of the impact he made on special teams. So I think Christian's a mature, older guy that wanted to give himself an opportunity to play somewhere else this upcoming season, that's got a lot of experience and brings experience to that room, for sure, because Juju and Marshawn and Rashad, I mean, they're still young guys, and getting Christian in here gives us the opportunity to get an older guy in here, really smart, and has played a lot of football at a high level.
Shane, on the running backs and I guess the quarterback situation too, just how do you kind of plan to manage those things a little bit going into the spring? And I guess for quarterback, how do you kind of plan to pick a starter and going forward with that? And then running back, you got, probably 4, 5, 6 guys that you feel pretty decent about. Just how do you kind of plan on dealing with that?
Yeah, good question. That stuff when we get back in next week, literally, I'm not trying to avoid the question. We brought these guys in, and hardly just because we've been all over the country recruiting, and then we get back together on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays for official visit weekends and junior days, and that's all recruiting, and then we go right back out on the road. So when we get back in the office next week, we'll really sit down and figure out how to make sure, because we've got obviously Spencer coming in, we've got to continue to get Luke better at quarterback, we've got to continue to get Colton better at quarterback. Tanner's not here, but Braden Davis is here, and getting him experience and seeing what these guys can do. So finding a way that, to maximize the reps and at running back as well, to get a great evaluation on all these guys and what they can do for us. We'll have a great plan, for that. And we've got 15 spring practices to do that. And then also, we're limited in what we can do in the walkthroughs before spring practice, but that's a great opportunity to be able to evaluate guys as well. And then also what they're doing in the weight room right now and being able to get down there and be involved with that. You have a chance to find out a lot about them physically too.
Shane, 2 things. I guess first, I know things can pop up, but do you anticipate any more staff changes right now before spring or anything like that?
I don't. Okay. Now I can walk down to my office and that's changed. I don't know, but I don't. I know we got a bunch of guys that want to be here, and we're trying to continue to make the situations right for those guys to be here. And like I said, I've got one coach that's turned down 3 jobs just himself in a couple weeks, and who's to say if he gets offered a 4th one that he may decide that's the one, but I hope not. But no, I think you never say never, but nothing that I'm aware of anybody that may be leaving.
And again, what kind of impact do you think a guy like Terrell and Devani will bring to that defense, losing a guy like Jalen and JJ from that?
I think Devani for sure, just the leadership back there. Everybody I talk to in this building, Colin, talks about just what a pro he is and how awesome he is and everything, the way he just handles his business in the weight room, in nutrition. I think he's just a natural leader that's just got that it factor about him, and I'm really fired up about him. Everybody raves about him that's around him already as well, and then the same thing with Terrell as well, guy that had a fantastic freshman season in Raleigh. And that we were able to get down here, and he brings great, for what we do defensively. Schematically, it's a little bit different than what NC State was doing, and not to speak for him, but I think he felt like the fit of what we do here fits his game a little bit better, and he's a guy with us losing JJ and Aaron Sterling that comes in and gives us a unique ability to rush the passer and bring some athleticism to that edge position as well.
Shane, as collegiate coaches, I'm curious, when you've got guys like Spencer Rattler who are, on way too early preseason Heisman favorite list, and these other guys that are on potential, preseason player of the year list and things like that, as well as coming off a really good year, how do you quantitate positive momentum and I guess publicity in a maybe that's not the right word, but how do you qualitate that and how do you use that to your advantage?
With these guys coming in, mainly is what you're saying?
I guess program perception.
Yeah. I think the fact that those young men are choosing our program, I think is the biggest eye-opener, and we certainly want to capitalize on it, and we love the young men that we have in our program, and then it's awesome that we've been able to add an outside group of people into the program as well that want to be a part of what we're doing in here is the biggest statement. And I think just the fact that young men across the country see that a lot of these players that we're talking about today could have chosen anywhere in the country and chose to come here is the biggest statement, and is an eye-opener for a lot of guys, for other transfers, but then also for young men in high school that are sitting there saying it as well, that see the excitement and the momentum coming off the bowl game, the people that we've added to the program. There's a lot of good going on right now. We certainly want to capitalize that as much as we can, but also understand how much work we have in front of us as well to get to that next level also.
Shane, with this offseason, I mean, you guys were able to, pick up a lot of different running backs, whether it be through the transfer portal, whether it be through just signing. What is your plan? Do you have a vision of how you plan on using all that talent there? And, what would you kind of tell people on the outside looking in? Because they're probably like, what's going on with all these running backs?
Yeah, running back wise, you can never have enough of them because that is a physical position, especially in this league. For sure. And I don't think now we've added some. It looks different because we've got I think probably 5 on scholarship now. That's pretty standard. I would say at most places that I've been, you've got 5 on scholarship if you can, because those guys are going to be core guys on special teams, and that's a physical position that you need some durability there. But then we also had the opportunity to add some walk-ons at that position that are fantastic players. And to me, you can never have enough great players, and that's a position because of the body type. They can be great running backs. You need more than one, like I said. They're going to be great special teams players, being able to cover kicks and things like that as well, return kicks like Juju did last year. And then, playing running back, you need different skill sets. Some guys may be a little bit better that you trust more in pass protection. Some guys are a little bit better in the passing game. A lot of the things we did with Juju last year, where we used him on a lot of the jet sweeps and things like that. Line him up at quarterback, line Kevin Harris up at quarterback. So I'd say going back to last year, Mike, just like we talked about going into the spring and then coming out of the spring, figuring out who our playmakers are, and let's find the best ways to get those guys the ball. And we've added pieces to every position on offense. And as we go into spring, let's see what we do well and then continue to tweak that, as we go through spring practice and out of spring practice, and be able to put together a scheme that allows us to, accentuate the positives of all of our guys and get our best players, out there on the field. But it's not as, I don't think you can ever have too many at one position without a doubt. It's a physical league, man. And we saw with injuries last year, I mean, we played, 3 quarterbacks because of injuries. Like, you can't have enough depth. And if you got a chance to add a great player that's willing to walk on and come in, not be on scholarship, that we think can help us, you'd be an idiot not to want to do that. It's good to see you back, John.
Thank you very much.
We missed you, my man.
I appreciate that.
You bet.
If I'm interpreting the hieroglyphics correctly, I think you'll have 2 more spots left for 2022.
You probably know better than I do, as much as you study it and know about it. But I believe you would be right in saying that we have 2 initials left based on the 7 additionals that you're able to get and all that as well.
Now,
Very good.
Do you go into spring practice, or do you have an idea now of how you want to address those 2 spots with regard to position, or do you want to see how spring practice plays out versus who hits the portal?
Yeah, good question. I think a lot of it has to do with spring practice and kind of where we are coming out of it, as a football team. And God forbid, hope you don't have any injuries and things like that on your own program during spring practice that affects them going into the fall and whatnot as well. So I think it's one of those, you'll never turn down a great player at any position in my mind. Certainly there's some positions that you look at and say, as we go a year from now when we're sitting in this room, certain positions are going to look a lot different probably because of the experience or eligibility level, at certain positions. Offensive line, we got some older guys there, and you need to be thinking about 2023 and 2024 as well as you continue to build the roster for the 2022 team as well. So you've got certain positions in mind, but to me it's more, let's see where we are coming out of spring, depth-wise, personnel-wise, and what, and then who may or may not be available. And we may not, use it on anybody. I just don't want to throw out a scholarship just to be throwing one out. It needs to be somebody that can help us short-term and long-term.
Thank you. The university announced that it's going to pay $6,000 to every athlete from that lawsuit that was settled. So when you were looking at preferred walk-ons, how valuable is that for you in attracting a better level of preferred walk-on, if there is such a thing?
Yeah, no, it's huge, and I'm so thankful that our university is one of the few to choose to do that for all student athletes. It's fantastic. It's an award that our student athletes earn, because of their performance here at this university. But to be able to present this to players, I know when Chance Miller and Hillary came in and talked to our football team about that, they got a huge ovation from our players because they're so appreciative of it. So to be able to talk about that with potential student athletes as well is just another resource and avenue for us to talk to guys about, to continue. There's so many amazing things about this place already, but to add that to it is a home run for us. And thanks again to our university and our administration for doing that also. All right, we got him warmed up for you, Sterling. Make sure y'all grill him on his recruitment and why he chose to turn me down and not come play football at South Carolina. Thanks.
How y'all doing today? Awesome. I just want to start off by saying how appreciative I am of Coach Beamer allowing me this opportunity. Obviously, working with Coach White in the past, have great respect for Coach White. And also, I just want to thank, just my coaches in general, just, going back to Orangeburg, being from Orangeburg, all my park and rec coaches, high school coaches, everyone who kind of, gave me that foundation to be where I am today. Going back to North Carolina State, all the great coaches I had there, Baltimore, the great organization, Coach Harbaugh, the great ownership, and I'm truly appreciative. Even going back to Jacksonville, Coach Meyer and Joe Cullen, who was a great mentor of mine. I just can't speak how much I'm appreciative, and I'm happy to be home. And any questions you guys might have.
How's it going, Sterling? David Cloninger with the Post and Courier in Charleston. What was the decision like going into this? You've been an NFL guy for a number of years now. You're coming back and got to add recruiting to all that. But what was that decision making like on your end?
To me, it was a no-brainer. Obviously, my relationship with Coach White and just seeing in the first year what these guys were able to do, and to me, it was a no-brainer. So Coach White and Coach Beamer, Coach Beamer didn't, I knew him as an 18-year-old, but the great respect that I had from him and watching his career from afar, it was a no-brainer, and it was a great opportunity to come back home.
Sterling, Mike of Gamecock Central. When you think back to when your playing days of playing college, just having some of those NFL guys around you, obviously on the outside looking in, it seems like it's okay, yeah, it'll be a plus. They get to be able to work with someone that got a chance to coach at that next level. But now being in the role that you're in currently, how much can that benefit some of these student athletes that come through here to be able to not only help them while they're here, but to be able to help them fill out their dreams of making it to that next level?
Absolutely. I think it works wonders. For these guys, me being in the NFL the last 6 years, knowing what to expect, knowing what it takes to get to that level, I think it works wonders. And I think these guys, I actually got a chance to meet these guys for the first time 2 days ago. Obviously, Coach Beamer talked about it, but getting on the road, as soon as I got here, which is awesome. And like I said, finally being able to get going with my position and talking to those guys, I think they're very much excited. I'm excited as well.
Hey, Sterling. Ben Portnoy with the State newspaper. Just, I guess, first off, what kind of went into Clayton and Shane's crash course on recruiting the couple weeks ago? And I guess just as far as knowing Clayton and going back a ways with him, just what stood out about wanting to work with him as well? And, what can you maybe tell us a little bit about y'all's relationship and kind of maybe the first time you came across him or anything like that?
Absolutely. So Clayton, I know you guys, you covered him a lot. I mean, Clayton, he's a down-to-earth guy. He's a funny guy. I'm going to tell you that right now. But, just the work environment and knowing his football knowledge. He was the safeties coach at North Carolina State when I worked there, and just we've been able to keep in touch from him going to be the defensive coordinator at Western Kentucky, and just the great respect that I've had for him, just watching him from afar the past 6 years that we haven't worked together. But I tell you, man, it's great.
Hey, Coach. I was wondering how you thought that your Coach Beamer mentioned it when he was talking, but he said you felt like your kind of defensive coaching style would match well with Coach White's. And just what do you think about going into spring practice, how the defense looks right now, and how you're hoping to model it?
Absolutely. I'll tell you this. Number one thing, just talking to our position, the outside linebacker group 2 days ago, number one thing we're going to do is we're going to lead the SEC in effort at our position. And I know Coach White, he believes in that as well. I mean, if you're doing it full speed, right, we can clean everything else up. So number one thing, we're going to come in and we're going to lead the SEC in effort, and I know Coach White is all about that.
Hey, Coach, you've obviously been on a couple different sides of recruiting, being a player, and I guess when you got started at State,
Absolutely.
how was getting out on the road and doing that side of it? How did you feel like that went for you? And do you have any early funny road stories you can share with us?
Yeah, it was awesome, man. So the first day I started out pretty hot. They had me ride a private plane the first day. So I was with the head coach. So, that was awesome. And the next day I was on the road. I drove about 6 hours that day. So I got humbled pretty fast. But I'll tell you, man, it was awesome. And to me, man, recruiting, like you said, as a player, I had to do it. Every official visit, they had me hosting guys. So to me, it's just relationships. It's just being yourself, being genuine, and I think players and parents, they can see right through it when you're being genuine.
Sterling, kind of sticking with that a little bit, but just what's the response been like from the guys you've been able to talk to on the recruiting trail so far over the last couple of weeks? And when you're out evaluating guys or talking to players in their homes, what are you kind of looking for? What are some things you'd like to see from them?
Yeah, so right now, just going into high schools, meeting the high school coaches has been very good. Just building that relationship with them, getting all the information, and obviously, we want the players obviously that we feel can help us win at this level. And like I said, I mean, the guys who have the makeup, the guys who have the mindset to come out. And like I said, number one thing in my position, I want effort, right? And everything else I can clean up. And I already know, obviously getting off the football as a defensive lineman, explosiveness. So those are just some of the many things that we look for.
Hey, Sterling. 2 questions for you. One, what was before you even threw your name into the hat for this position, what was your perception of what Shane had been doing here, of the South Carolina football program? And then 2, I'm just kind of curious, do you kind of have a set recruiting base, or is that still kind of fluid for you guys?
Yeah, so first of all, like to answer your first question, being in the NFL last year and just watching from afar, I know they had the quarterback issues where they had injuries and whatnot, and just seeing what they were able to do through that was appealing as well. That goes to show you right there what type of coaches that we have on this staff. And what was your second question?
Do you have a set recruiting base? Will it just be Carolina? You're from here, just Carolina areas, or further out? Or?
Yeah, so it's kind of fluid right now. We do a lot of position based. So I tell coach all the time, I'm gonna go where the players at. So wherever the good players at, that's where I want to be.
Hey, Sterling. Pete Iacobelli from the AP here in town. It sounds like Shane still hasn't fully gotten past you turning him down in high school. Why did you turn him down, and do you think he'll ever let you forget it?
Yeah, I think he's over it. He hired me back, but I mean, I got a chance to right my wrong this time. But like I said, it's all about relationships. I just felt at the time, that was the place to be. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you a funny story. So, obviously, I played inside linebacker, and I don't know if you remember Jasper Brinkley at the time. And you know, all young guys that want to play as a true freshman. So basically, I was like, man, this. Not that I didn't want to compete, but basically they told me Jasper Brinkley's the guy, right? So you know, it's nothing wrong with being a young guy, and I've learned that over the years, coaching and everything, right? There's nothing wrong with being a young guy and learning under a veteran as well. But I think that kind of went into it. And I told Coach, I said, Coach, I'm gonna be honest with you. If y'all had these facilities y'all have now, I don't know if I would have turned you down. So that's kudos to what you guys have been able to do these past couple of years. Donors and everything. I mean, these facilities are awesome.
No, obviously, just really getting used to being in the facility and stuff since you're out on the road and probably haven't spent a ton of time studying your current players. But what do you know about Birch and Strawn and some of those other guys in your position group that you're going to be working
Absolutely. To your point, like I said, I jumped right on the road recruiting. So I'm currently going through the process of watching the entire season, making what we call get better tapes. So one or two things that I think, each guy should work at and, hone in on this spring coming up. But I tell you what, I got a chance to see those guys in the weight room the other day, and they're working really hard. Birch, Strawn, big athletic guys. So I'm really excited to get to work with those guys.
You've talked a lot about your relationship with Coach White. Just how much does that relationship help in terms of just getting up to speed on how he wants to coach things defensively, the terminology and stuff? Is the learning curve less knowing all that stuff beforehand?
And like I said, we haven't talked much football yet because it's been mostly recruiting. But I know terminology-wise, we kind of speak the same language, and I know he's interested in some of the things. My background being in Baltimore, being in Jacksonville, some things that I can bring to the table as well. So I think we'll get into that a little next week, but I'm looking forward to that as well.
So you mentioned just the impact Joe Cullen's had on you as a coach. Just maybe can you elaborate a little bit on that and kind of what kind of impact has he had on you as a coach and sort of, your time in the NFL as well?
Absolutely. So working with Joe since 2016, Joe Cullen, he's a great man, great mentor, and I'll tell you one thing, he's probably the best D-line coach there is. I mean, everybody around knows he gets calls every year for people for jobs. The first person they're going to call is Joe Cullen, right? So he's a great mentor of mine, and I've learned so much these past couple of years, and I consider him a great friend.
On a more personal note, Coach, how has your transition back to Columbia been, and are you settling in well, and how does it feel to be back close to home?
It's been awesome. I'm hotel living right now, but it's been really good. My wife, Brittany, we met in college. She's from Charlotte, so my daughter, London, I have a 2-year-old, I have an 8-week-old daughter, Ari. So, they're back in Jacksonville right now, but I miss them, but they're excited to get a little back closer to home. My family, like you guys know, I'm from Orangeburg, so my parents still live there. So I'm sure my wife, she'll be excited to get a little help. She got some extra babysitters, so it's been good.
Phil Kornblut, Sports Talk Media Network.
How you doing, Phil?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
What do you take away from your season at Jacksonville, considering everything that was going on with Urban Meyer and how all that ended up? What did you learn about the NFL and maybe the coaching at that level?
Absolutely. I'll tell you one thing. I learned a great deal. Urban Meyer, Coach Meyer, he was nothing but awesome to me. I learned a lot about, starting from day one from him, building the program. It was nothing but great. And I'll tell you one thing, we didn't have the results that we wanted as a whole big picture, but our defensive line, I tell you, those guys played hard. They came to play every week, and we had a really good group, and they were really dominant, I'll tell you, for the majority of the games this past year. But to answer your question, I had a great experience in Jacksonville. I'm very appreciative of Coach Meyer, the Kahn family, and nothing but great things to say about that organization.
Obviously, being recruited here is a big deal, but what do you remember about South Carolina football? What's your earliest memory of South Carolina football as a kid growing up in Orangeburg? Is there anything that really comes to mind for you?
Game. Cox. I'm telling you, man, that stadium, man, the sandstorm. I'm telling you, I mean, it's been years since I've been to a game, but I know in high school, man, the atmosphere is crazy. It's awesome, man, and I'm excited to get back going in William Brice Stadium. You guys didn't respond to me when I said game, man. Come on, with your school spirit. No, I'm a Gamecock, man. Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. All right.
Okay, that was Lucas speaking to the media. Guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Yours truly got a lot to do. We got to get tomorrow's podcast recorded. We're going out to Tin Roof 5 to 7. We're going to be at Pinch tonight, giving away some merch as well around 9:30 or so we can come out for that. But real quick synopsis overall. Thought Shane Beamer addressed things very professionally. Thought he did a good job of calming the nerves of Gamecock Nation, if you will. Connor Shaw, Eric Kemery had great opportunities that they could not turn down, and sometimes you got to take advantage of it, man. So, again, they left South Carolina on great terms, and Shane Beamer making the point that 1,000,000,000% it was not because of anything, any ill will or any coaches not getting along, anything like that. Also not expecting more staff changes, which was the big one. And again, Sterling Lucas, big fan of him coming from the NFL. I'll be very interested to see how he adjusts in regards to recruiting. But, yeah, really excited for him as well. So, guys, again, that's going to do it all for us. Appreciate you all tuning in. Again, check out the podcast today if you have not done so, talking basketball. But, of course, the big news we'll be covering all day long, the staff changes, National Signing Day, all that good stuff. Guys, again, appreciate you all tuning in. I'm out of here. Come out to Tin Roof tonight if you can. 5 to 7, $3 drafts, $3 Rumple shots as well. Also, again, we're at Pinch tonight. So, again, we'd love to see you guys there. Until tomorrow, appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.